Play of the game from way down.
1, 2, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bombs going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombstastic gonna find Rainer.
Hello and welcome to the NGS Season 8 Heroic Division Semifinals. Oh, I got extra music going on, I'm sorry. What's going on? It's ACA, the Anti-Clown Association versus ReGen in the house. I will be joined shortly. Actually, I think he's calling right now. I think we got him now. Aero, is that you? Hello, hello.
It is indeed.
Just in the nick of time, my friend. I'm going to update the Cocaster here to say Aero. Now you guys know who's actually here. And Aero, so we've been hanging out in the lobby. You were finishing up that last match. It was a good one. Tell us about it real quick before we get started.
Yeah, so Perfect Gems versus Archon. It was a lot of back and forth, a lot of team wipes or near team wipes. Ultimately, Perfect Gems took it out in 3 games in that best of 5. But you know, Archon put up a good fight. And if you're Perfect Gems, they're shouting out they want a rematch against ReGen.
I did hear that during that interview, and I was a little surprised to hear that maybe after they had a successful battle against them just last week in Div S against ACA 3-0. They want to face against maybe the tougher opponent here. But we still got to play it out. It's number 2 ACA versus number 3 ReGen, so RG a bit of an underdog here. Aero, I don't want to hold up these teams any longer. We're in the lobby. They're ready to go. I'm going to tell them I'm ready.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. And for those of you at home, we will get Aero's camera up here in between games 1 and 2. Apologies for it not being up right now. But yeah, things. He was just casting somewhere else. It's a lot of moving parts. We'll be sure to get him going. And here we go, game number 1. All right, so Aero, let's talk a bit about these map bans, because tonight it was ACA, of course, being the higher seed, getting that option of map pick or first pick. They wanted the first pick here in draft number 1, so it was ReGen with the ban first, BOE, followed by Volskaya from ACA, then Tomb of the Spider Queen banned out by ReGen, and finally Sky Temple was the final ban from ACA. Of course, we do see this game number 1, Dragonshire. Aero, I know you just got done casting a Dragonshire match. Thoughts on this one?
This looks rather familiar indeed. I was just trying to pull up the results from the prior matchup here. It looks like in the prior match, they did not play on Dragonshire. Now, I don't have the Div S stats, so I can't check on that. I'm interested to see how these teams play any differently from the 2 that we just watched. Obviously, both Heroic Division sets and very different team comps in the last match. So, interested to see what we see from ReGen and ACA here.
So if you guys tuned in just this past week, ReGen played here on Dragonshire, went with a bit of an obtuse comp, to say the least, up against Broken Alliance. Ended up going with an Abathur, Samuro, a few other random assorted pieces in there, but no support. It was just the Abathur, and I'm wondering if maybe ReGen's going to go back to a similar look here in this game number 1 of the Heroic Division Semifinals.
And at least for right now, I mean, they haven't had anything banned out on it. You would think that either the Samuro or the Abathur would withdraw an early ban. Quantum's going to take that Ana, though, and I know Porky likes that Ana.
It's a power pick. We do see the Ariel still available. Of course, she got a bit of a nerf just recently, but still one of those heroes you want on your team as a support if you can get it. But they're going to go ahead and get a few more pieces. Having that Junkrat here on Dragonshire gives you such a benefit, especially in that bottom lane. He's great at the anti-siege and can really shut down the enemy Dragon Knights, if that happens to be the case, as we see Mal'Ganis and Li Ming selected by ACA.
And you mentioned the Oriole nerf. Mal'Ganis saw a little bit of a nerf as well. Still a very strong hero, can set up a lot of plays. You've got the double sleep potential from Ana and Mal'Ganis. And then, as long as anybody's going to hang out for a little bit, let's throw a little bit of Arcane Orbs or Arcane Missiles into those targets.
We've seen a lot of play from the Li Ming recently, especially when it gets paired in with the Greymane, and you do see the Greymane getting banned away there by ReGen. Having that Cursed Bullet, the Orbs from Li Ming, getting that first reset, usually all you need to win a team fight. So I gotta say, good ban there from RG. Now we're over to ACA with that final ban of this map number 1.
So I don't know what all ReGen had played with the Samuro and the Abathur. Does this look even remotely similar to what they were playing with that comp?
So far, no, not the same.
Okay.
There's the Ariel ban.
So we're going to see a Zeratul.
Yeah, I believe this was included. Ignasty69, appreciate the follow. And there is the Abathur. So yeah, unless this Samuro's taken right now by ACA, this is that comp from RG.
New follower detected.
There you go.
Another new follow coming in there. That one from my good friend, Not Paradox. Thanks for hopping in here, man.
So Zeratul works really well with the Abathur. Obviously, Samuro works really well with the Abathur. I mean, they've got some really fantastic ad targets. Even really, Johanna works pretty well with the Abathur, right? Because she's never going to get shoved away and just can provide that constant presence for Abathur to get those shots in.
Final pick, and it will be the Samuro for Lupus, just as I thought. And I think ACA knew this was coming. That Dahaka pick at the end from Dude Abides, I think, is their response to deal with the Samuro. Whether or not that will work, Aero, we're going to find out. But do we want to go over to chat? Let's see what chat's thinking about this game number 1. I'm going to start up a poll here, and I'm going to ask that you guys vote and let us know who's going to win. So, who will win game 1? Will it be ACA or RG? Place your votes in chat. Make sure you hit the submit button. And I believe, yeah, there they are at the top of the screen. Live results ready for you guys. Aero, what are you thinking here in game 1?
I mean, you talked about the comp here with the Abathur Samuro. Abathur Samuro has been a really oppressive force when you have two players who can play that competently. So I haven't seen it in a while since the changes to Samuro. I don't know, like, I know that they're very confident in it. But, I mean, I have to say, I like ACA's draft. I like it a lot.
I can tell you from inside information, Porky thinks this comp is unbeatable on Dragonshire. But we're going to find out in just a moment as we load on into game number 1. And over here on the left-hand side, we got Kelsier up front playing this Jim Raynor. My pal Vince on the Mal'Ganis. Quantum playing that first pick, Ana. Got Filth on the Li Ming. And Dude Abides playing that Robo Dahaka. Make some noise for the Anti-Clown Association.
All right, and on the right, the number 3 team here, ReGen. It's going to be TT Porky on the Zeratul. Hacho playing the Johanna. Samuro going to be run by Noah. Junkrat going to be played by Lupus. And Troy 1010 on the Abathur. So we're going to see Noah and Lupus switch up there as Samuro was originally showed by Lupus.
And there's going to be the first sleep of the game, right? Early attack here on the Hacho. It's just a Johanna, so we're just hanging. We're just saying hi right now as Zeratul's gonna walk in and start finding some of the targets he's looking for. First one will be Quantum on that Ana.
So we've got Abathur hanging out in the mid lane, which is probably the safest place for him to be. It's gonna be the least active location, but they're looking for this Li Ming in the bot lane. Not quite able to get that singularity spike though.
And probably the matchup everyone is most curious about, of course, the Samuro. They don't go with a traditional support. They stick with the Abathur and really the... Oh, Aero, what happened? I missed it.
I didn't see it either.
Oh, no. There's two of us.
Over there. We weren't looking.
I just want to talk about the solo lane. You guys are supposed to play nice for a few moments. But yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with the Samuro. Is it going to work out again? It worked successfully just the other day in Division S against Broken Alliance. I see Cubico hanging out in chat. Yeah. Here's the burrow in from Dahaka. Gets the drag onto Junkrat. And just like that, Noah down for the second time early in this one.
And this is really how ACA has to play this, right? They need to take this aggression early game while they've got the advantage with the Abathur. Before Samuro has the potential to have clones and get as many of these strategic camps, maybe get a Dragon Knight early to try to open up this game and make it a little bit harder for them to play around.
A few camps available right now, including this bottom lane bruiser camp, which it appears as though ACA having this Dahaka down here, they want to go for it. Right now that means Jim Raynor having to deal with Samuro in the top lane, perhaps an opportunity to kind of siege in and do a little bit of work in that top lane as Samuro. Here comes Hot Cho, gonna scout this out and see Dahaka's on here, gonna call in the troops now.
And here they come. Zeratul behind with the Junkrat, and but Mal'Ganis is coming in from behind, has the Felclaws, gets the root onto Junkrat. The Junkrat Concussion Mine is going to boot them off, but they're still right back in there. They're going to put Johanna to sleep. And here comes the Chattering Teeth onto Dahaka. Hacho fallen very low, has the Avatar hat, but might fall. And this is going to be a camp going over to Anti-Clown Association.
Yeah, that's the issue when you don't have a support. Now Noah in trouble up top, and I incorrectly said Noah was playing that Junkrat. It's actually Lupus on the Junkrat here in this one, so apologies there. Almost falling, but Raynor not able to get the kill, and perhaps going to get bullied off this point yet again, as Porky now walking in on the Zeratul, going to find a quick cleave. Kelsier down to 37 health and will survive.
Thanks to that adrenaline rush, right? You get the opportunity to, you know, Raynor's not an overly mobile hero, but he does have the ability to knock people away and also has a little bit better sustain because of that adrenaline rush.
While that was going on, ACA was able to pick up that bottom lane siege camp, and it's currently pushing in up against ReGen's bottom lane fort wall. Only in defense here, Junkrat and the Johanna, as that first of two turrets will fall to the hands of ACA.
And I'm going to be interested to see if we see a sticky wicket here for Junkrat, or if he instead takes the Dirty Trickster, right? Does he go for that silence, or does he go for the, hey, if you're going to put me to sleep, I'm going to drop a whole bunch of bombs on you?
Porky walking in on the backside, stealth as Zeratul gets the hat from Abathur, going to start to attack onto Ana, now warping back in. Quantum will fall as Porky picking up the first kill of the game, down a talent here for ReGen.
And that's going to give them a lot of value here. They've got 3 heroes in the bot lane for ReGen, so they're going to pick up the point. Dahaka's up there in top, but has the Raynor nearby as well, so Samuro's going to be the target. They've got the slows, but I don't know if they can get him with that. Yeah, with that images, it's gonna be able to get out.
What's it called, like Shadow Walk or something, when he just disappears and pops 5 feet in front?
Well, he's got Wind Walk in the
Wind Walk. Yeah, that's the one
that does that. Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to get away as Samuro. Here comes the first channel attempt of the game. Looks like Kelsier will get it. No, shut down in the top lane by Noah at the final moment. And continuing the dominance is Samuro in this top lane, but now dragged into the tower, has to pop out those clones just to survive. And get a little bit of support here from the Abathur hat. That should give space now for Dudabides to walk back on, and perhaps opportunity once again for Kelsier to look for this channel.
It looks really close here. We do have that siege camp that was picked up as well, but it's going to get knocked into the wall. Just a little bit too late on that stall on the Dragon Knight, so it's going to be first Dragon Knight going over to ACA.
So, Aero, I didn't check in on who won our pre-game poll, so while we're here during this first objective, let's take a look, and it appears as though just the one vote, one lonely vote, and it belonged to ACA. So far, they do have that lead, about to hit level 10. There goes the well in the bottom lane, and you gotta believe this DK about to easily get down this bottom lane fort.
Just a brief moment of Slapather going out to attack some minions there as he's calling that mule down to work it out. They're looking for the Avatar now. The Felclaws, it's just going to be Zeratul. But a great double sleep there. Up in the top, though, Samuro's working on this top fort and has Dahaka kind of on the ropes with this bruiser camp. So
that was a long push with the help of a bruiser camp from the Samuro, and Dahaka could do nothing against it. Even having the talent here, they're still not able to stop the Samuro in the top lane. So they'll have an easier job now. Remember, Samuro still has that well. Now Dahaka won't have it as we see another sleep attempt. And there it is. Big orb from Li Ming. And Got Filth starting to really shine. Now Aya Boris trying to finish off Johanna, but Hacho pops up in the air. And will quickly head on back to base.
And you know, they do take out that top fort for ReGen, but ACA gets the bottom fort, and ultimately in the long run, that's going to be a more beneficial fort for them to take. That's a better trade. Obviously, they had the Dragon Knight to accomplish that, but they also get the value in the mid lane, so setting it up for potentially the next Dragon Knight. Yes, the Mule's going to heal it up, but there's no wall there. So there's no place for them to retreat to if they need to stall out.
Yeah, that armor reduction landing onto Dudabai is starting to really hurt him. Now, without Essence, pops into the burrow. Porky right on top, and the Haka will fall for the second time in this one. Let's take a look at the kill chart, and it's 2 for Raynor, 2 for Leeming, 1 apiece for Zeratul and Samuro. And excuse me, that was the first death of Dahaka, not the second.
Man, killing it, Murda.
You know, I try to do things off memory sometimes. Ooh, Porky almost in trouble, has that quick blink away.
We do have Samuro up here in the top, though, getting some damage from the tower, and then Ana suddenly showing up. Now looking to try to see if she can't get this Samuro. Is going to stall out his mount, but I think he makes it? Yeah,
Ooh,
he needed one more shot.
Got that last shield from Abathur as we resume action here in the bottom lane. Abathur trying to use a different skill. This time it's the Mule on this bottom lane. Big Bruiser Camp pushing in with the help of my pal Vince. ACA getting some damage onto that front wall, but I think the Mule should be able to handle some of it. Maybe not all of it.
Yeah, at least not for the first round here. We do see the sleep going out onto Johanna. There is now that sticky wicket trap, so the silence coming out. Definitely helpful when you're dealing with the Mal'Ganis to have that silence, so that if he does have his Night Rush into you, you can't follow up with a Fell Claws for the stun, or, you know, just on the off chance he happens to go dark. None of that nonsense either.
Porky gonna try to stand on the bottom lane, but Raynor walking in from outside of the vision range of Zeratul, and now my pal Vince walking right past that stealth Zeratul again. But not able to connect with that sleep, as ACA is going to remain in control of this bottom lane, but top lane still easily in the control of Noah. He's playing on the other side of the map, Aero, with no fear at all.
And he's Samuro, right? So he can do that kind of thing. He's got the images. He's got the ability to shunt off literally anything that happens to his primary character. But possibly not when a full rotation comes in. We'll see if they can get this out. Ana gonna get the kill onto the
Oh, where'd he go? He's back
He's
here.
at the wall. I think he still falls here.
Yeah, he falls.
Dragon Knight picks up because of the full rotation.
I didn't notice that, so maybe calculated there by Noah, able to create enough space for his team to pick up a DK. And they're going to lose their Samuro, but they will at least get this front wall at mid, see if they can get any other value from it as the DK approaching the 50% health mark.
And we've seen, for the most part, Troy here on the Abathur having to pull back, even behind that keep wall, just because of the fact that ACA has opened up the map so much in the mid and bot lane. There's just nowhere for him to be safe.
Punt there onto my pal Vince as there's more Dragon's Breath onto another wall. This time, Lupus looking for that bottom lane, but not going to be able to get it, starting to make his retreat. I think that's all they're going for here, Aero. 20 seconds left, 25% health, but no support from the team right now on the DK.
Yeah, and they've got Junkrat in the Death Knight as well, so it's not typically your best get out of dodge hero, right? I mean, Samuro can get out, even Zeratul can get out, hell, Johanna can get out with a Falling Sword. Junkrat has to hope he can get his concussion.
For now.
And there goes that DK. It has expired as Noah's going to try to harass his backline. Another good drag. And the orb connected, but he had enough to get out of there. Now Eye of Horus looking for him and hitting a few times. Is there a kill? No, out of shots. 200 health. Noah will survive.
And that was that Shikuchi talent you were talking about early in the game, where it gives him a short teleport. Without that teleport, Mal'Ganis gets him with the Fell Claws, and he's a dead boy.
Oof. All right, yeah, that is the one I was talking about. I'm sure it translates into, like, Shadow Step or something. There's another drag. This time it's onto Zeratul, but Porky, almost as safe as a Samuro when you think about it. Both have that little gap-closing escape, or I guess gap-extending when you're trying to run away. And it's going to be that constant pressure from ReGen at this point in the game, Aero. We just got to keep an eye on the Samuro. And more importantly, keep an eye on the Abathur heroic cooldown. Depending on when that clone is up, that's when ReGen's ready to go. So right now, maybe ready to go, but they're just low on health. So So they got to give up the
I don't know
siege
that
camp.
I've actually seen it, but I don't know. Johanna's coming in. The sleep dart missed because of the iron skin. Here comes Junkrat with the riptire, getting a big explosion, taking out the Ana. Zeratul getting pretty low, has to pull back out. The Mastermind going to hit my Palvin away. The steel trap following him as well. But even with the Ana down, they're like, you know what? We got a big secret. We can get a little value. Forget the enemy.
Yeah, they got to send the Junkrat over, the Johanna over. They do clear that up, but they lose one of their towers, and still a bit of pressure as these Siege Giants remain in the lane. Hot Cho's trying to walk towards the Bruiser camp, but he's going to have no help. Nearest hero nearby is going to be Zeratul, as Porky's going to make this rotation down. Does have that VP, so keep an eye on that cooldown.
And there's Porky once again. Here comes the Falling Sword. We've got the Void Prison as well. Junkrat's on the other side of the wall, but Johanna doesn't have really any health left, and so the Varian Swarm's going to be able to finish that off. Actually, I guess it was Ming, but Varian Swarm with the pressure.
Yes, so the attack, the engage, a bit off cue. The VP, the Falling Sword, I think trying to be synced up a bit there, but didn't quite land it as they maybe wanted to, and then that Condemn coming out of the VP. Also not really connecting too much, so a lot of damage. Johanna did fall. 7 kills in the game for ACA, now 3 belonging to Li Ming, being played by Got Filth. Let's highlight this hero a bit, coming in on the Sharknado. Oh my god, Porky, you can't stand there! 14 health, and Got Filth just made you look stupid.
Up in the top, just to counter that out, Noah did a really good job of escaping the 4-man attempt on his life. Now looking at the Rainer, but it's going to be Mad Pavlin's picking up the Dragon Knight now for ACA, and they're looking to head down that bot lane toward that keep.
Obviously, for you guys at home, much love to Porky. He's my buddy. I can say those sorts of things, so don't go freaking out on me, everyone! DK bottom lane for ACA, trying to get the first keep of the game, as we see another mule coming down from Abathur. Not going to be enough this time, as it's quickly exploded by the Dragon's Breath. Aero, how do you stop this momentum right here in this moment? You're almost down level 20s now, and for an Abathur comp, at this point in the game, you got to have broken through that XP gap that might have existed from earlier, and ReGen just hasn't been able to get that done.
Yeah, and this is where it begins right here. With the Void Prison, if they can get the combination to land, but the Riptire isn't going to come out thanks to the Dragon Knight. Ana's still going to fall, but the Silence coming out, and you've got Zeratul on the ropes there.
Oh, they do. Zeratul gets back, and he's going to be safe. I didn't see the clone come out, did you?
No, it's still up.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. They get the 1 kill.
All this
Honestly, I just see them constantly attacking Ana. That was her 3rd death of the game. They had, of course, that one other kill onto the solo lane Dahaka as a big push coming top lane. Look at this with a catapult and Abathur hat. They're going to get more value onto that keep, but it's not going to fall quite yet. Dudabai is able to clear that. But the pressure, I mentioned, they're going to try to keep it constant, especially that top lane where you've seen Noah throughout the game. Eventually, they're going to have to shift focus down to the bottom lane, though, which really has been where ACA spent the majority of their time, as level 20 just picked up for ReGen, maybe looking for a fight. But Rainer's Raider are going to have that scouted out. Really nothing they can do in that instance.
So it occurs to me, with Abathur being essentially their only supporter, cloning means that Abathur can't do that. And that puts them in a bit of an awkward place. So maybe the clone is just really for the, okay, we're down and we need just another body out there? To fight off as a defense? I
mean, I gotta think their initial plan in each fight is to get that first burst kill using the VP, using the Falling Sword, using the Riptire. And if they want to throw the clone out during that, that would be the moment. Whether or not Abathur wants to cancel early, hop out, and start healing again. But I think they want to look for those kills early in the fight with the clone. We'll find out.
I don't think you can cancel clone.
You can't cancel clone.
You have to force the death.
Interesting.
I'm not 100% positive that, but I'm close to positive, because I think I've tried that before and it did not work.
Shui RG in the house says, yo, yo, yo. Welcome.
Hey, the drag onto the clone, but Dudebide's getting very low here, has that armor penalty as well. We see Ana with the Eye of Horus.
Oh, the wave of Horus just saved him.
Oh, man.
Porky's gonna get out as well. Eye of Horus on cooldown. You saw it used, so they won't be able to pick up those kills. Bottom lane was picked up by Hot Cho, so we'll be at least a bit of a stall on ACA able to get this DK. But Summero's gonna have to run up to that top lane quickly as you see ACA rotating down to the bottom. Quantum gonna stand on that bottom lane moon shrine, but no one's standing near mid. Yeah, why didn't Sam cover top? Is this the problem?
Well, Zeratul there, and he will get there quickly enough.
Yeah, he's got it.
So he's going to keep pressure up on the top for the keep now.
And he's going straight to the core.
Does this work?
And if you can't kill it, they got the clone with it. There's the Abathur clone. Double Summeros on the core. It's a whole lot of heroes as you see those clones continually being popped. Now down to 75%. RG trying to finish it out. Ana's going to fall at mid. We're not watching that action because there's a lot going on at the core. Looks like Noah's going to bail out at 51%. RG still looking for this DK at mid as my Palvins, look how low he is without much help. Here comes the mule, maybe trying to hat it too? No. VP. And that's space for Lupus to get the DK. I don't know if they're going to find kills in this spot. It looks like they're just going to send the Dragon Knight top lane.
Well, they're going to send it toward the core, right? I mean, that's the free area. They get the kill onto Raynor. My pal Vince probably going to make it out here. But now that's Raynor and Ana down. This Dragon Knight might actually be able to succeed on this core here.
This could be it. DK on the core. And Porky saying the comp is unbeatable. Perhaps he's right. Game number 1 going over to ReGen.
I gotta say, that was, how long was that game? That was about a 20-minute game, and that was 19 and a half minutes of ACA showing up, and then 30 seconds of Noah saying, I got this. Forcing the game.
Basically exactly what happened. It was just a dominant top lane by Samuro from start to finish, but the rest of the map, you have to admit, went over to ACA. RG really didn't have a presence anywhere else. They didn't knock down any other forts except the top lane. So credit must be due to Noah and the Samuro play there in game number 1. Let's take a look at the talent screen before we go to a break. I gotta get Aero, his camera all set up. We're gonna take a short moment. Do not go anywhere. I think I'm going to put like 3 minutes on the clock. Time me. And we'll be back with game number 2. Did I fix it? Okay. No, I did it. Okay, we did do it. Welcome back to twitch.tv/MurderRG. And joining us this time, it is Aero RG. What's up, my man?
Hey, so glad to be here. Really excited about this matchup.
So I just made a lobby. There is a lobby. There, Okay,
I should probably join that.
no, leaving my lobby. I think I'm going to join this other one. That's what I was hoping was going to happen, was they were making... Okay, all right, they're all in here. Okay, all right, we're here.
And you know what the best part is? They're on the right side.
They are on the right side, or the left side if you're the left team.
There you go.
So map number 1 did go over to RG. You mentioned 19 minutes and 30 seconds of ACA and about 30 seconds of RG was all it took for ReGen to take that game number 1. Game number 2, this was chosen by ReGen as ACA wants that first pick. We're headed into Infernal Shrines.
And this is the most played map in NGS. This season, the last season, probably, I think, Season 6 as well.
So that means you casted this about 100 times.
Probably
about 100.
Maybe not quite 100. Maybe like 80 times. But it's definitely up there. It's definitely in the high double digits.
Bellers the bomb in chat asking best of 3 or best of 5. Of course, Aero already responded, but in case anyone is listening and not really reading chat, tonight will, of course, be a best of 5 series, NGS Semifinals. So they put a bit more importance on these games, want to give opportunity for really the best team to go home as the winner tonight. And NGS feels as though that best of 5 really will help exemplify that. So here we are, heading into a game number 2. So at least 2 more will be happening tonight. This first one will be Infernal Shrines, and who knows where we're going after this. You ready, Aero? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's do it.
So do you think, so the Abathur Samuro comp, they used it on Dragon. We've seen some Cho'Gall play. Have we seen like any Deathwing play out of ReGen at all?
I haven't, honestly. Not sure if they're just not hot on the Deathwing, no pun intended. Or if they'd rather just run things like we've seen the Cho played in Division S a couple times. Of course, we saw that last comp, which I kind of foretold was going to happen, and it did end up happening. Deathwing, though, I haven't seen too much of it, Aero.
ACA has played Deathwing 3 times, at least in NGS. They've played Cho'Gall once, and they've had, good win rates with it. There goes the Cho'Gall. And of course, when you're the first pick, it's second pick who has the first opportunity to take Cho'Gall. So it's all about, what are they are they just telepathic? Are they getting it straight from my brain here?
Well, I guess they don't want to play it. There's the answer. They want to ban it out. 15 seconds as some of those priority heroes that we saw in game number 1 are going to start being under consideration. Perhaps the Ana didn't end up seeing the Oriole, but we will see the Uther banned out. Will this be the Ana from ReGen, or do they take away that Sylvanas again? There's the Sylvanas.
So last game they left up ETC and Yrel. Or I'm sorry, they banned out ETC and... Oh, there you go.
Interesting. So I've casted ACA a few times. I've noticed my pal Vince really likes playing that Mal'Ganis. He did play it in game 1, but perhaps more priority for him onto the ETC, as you see a couple very strong picks here on Infernal Shrines. Ana picked up, and Sonya for Lupus, who will be able to get plenty of value here in those shrines, killing off those skeletal defenders.
I'm trying to find here. So Ana, they've had a 100% win rate as ReGen, 4 for 4. I don't see the Sonya on there. Oh, there it is. Not so good on the Sonya. They've won 1 out of 3 for that.
Okay. Shots fired. I'm kind of expecting a curveball here from ReGen. So far, it looks standard. I'm expecting something to come out that maybe you guys don't see coming. There's the Malthael ban. Can't be a Cho'Gall. So that won't be the surprise. But maybe something like a double support here. Maybe bringing out something like a Zarya to help enable this Sonya on the front line. Maybe they could do something interesting there. What are your thoughts, Aero?
You know, I'm not sure that I've seen it here, but one of the heroes that used to be picked most commonly on this map was Kerrigan. And I have seen that a little bit more recently.
Ooh, look at
Not
you.
today!
Look
I'm
at
telling
you.
you! I am on fire here!
You love
I
to
just
see
know
it.
everything these guys want to get rid of.
Back
Oh, man.
over to RG on the clock with their 3-4 selections here in game number 2. Will be Diablo. Not a bad selection for Hot Cho, although he has fallen a bit out of the priority for the main tank position. And 2 seconds left for this 4th pick. Will be a Kael'thas for Troy.
And I like Kael'thas here. I've seen him more and more picked up in Div A and in Heroic, specifically on this map, because of the fact that he can spread bombs off of the Shrine Defenders. If you've got the Apocalypse, if you've got... I've actually seen a lot of Leap Craters as well lately. Not necessarily up in the upper echelons here, so... But if you can get that Leap to work, a Living Bomb kind of within a crater would be absolutely disgusting.
There's Maev, and there is Urel for that solo lane. Going to be a good matchup for her up against the Sonya, able to interrupt that whirlwind pretty easily. Final pick now for Noah. Still have things like that Zeratul they played in game 1, but no, they want a bit more frontline to pair in with the Diablo and Sonya, and they're going to take Arthas for Noah.
I'm not sure. So last game, I thought that ACA had the better draft, and I think they showcased that throughout most of the game, and then they lost the game at the end. In this one, I feel like ReGen's got it. We've got a nano boost that could potentially go on to Kael'thas, or maybe even onto Arthas.
Well,
That gets a little scary.
Aero, I did just start up our next poll for this game number 2. Who will win it? ACA or RG? If you want to participate, make sure you go on your PC at the top of chat, hit that little drop down, select the team, and make sure you hit vote. And your vote will activate live here on stream. And of course, they get points, free points, internet points, if you vote for them. Here we go. Game number 2. Ready to go. Let's introduce this team on the left-hand side. Coming in as the number 2 seed in the Heroic Division, we got Duda Bides playing the Urel in that solo lane. My Palvince on the ETC. Picking up the Malfurion will be Quantum as Kelsier's on the Maev. And last but not least, picking up that red, white, and blue Greymane, it's Got Filth. Make some noise once again for the Anti-Clown Association.
All right, and on the right for the red team, we've got ReGen. It's going to be TT Porky playing Ana. Arthas going to be played by Noah. We got Troy 1010 on the Kael'thas, Hot Cho on Diablo, and Sonya going to be played by Lucas.
Here we go. Level 1, and those talents are up on your screen. Final one being selected there by Urel will be Light of Karabor.
And already getting the tether there onto Arthas. Should be real easy for Maev to get a lot of these tethers, I would think. Malfurion getting flipped by Diablo, probably going to be the first blood.
And that'll happen about 31 seconds in here on Infernal Shrines. Having an early game Diablo, not always easy to find kills, but they do just that. And Hot Cho picking up a few extra XP globes before making the rotation down to the bottom, where Arthas already looking for the Greymane, not going to connect on that Howling Blast. But a bit of lane presence already being asserted here by RG. Another sleep connecting there. Follow-up gravity lapse from Kael'thas. Kelsier will be safe. But the tenacious attack from RG early here in game 2 looking impressive.
So, just so that you're... Well, okay. So just so you're aware, they did update the chat voting now so that you can see it on mobile. So it's not just on your PC anymore.
Holy moly.
That being said, for whatever reason, I can't see the votes on the PC chat. I had to pull up my phone to see it. So
they broke it.
So
look
weird.
what you did, Twitch. Someone at Twitch on Twitter.
There you go.
And then at Twitter on Twitch, and tell them to fix it.
So, what do you think about this top lane matchup between Sonya and Yrel?
I mentioned it during the draft. Yeah, I think Yrel just gets the better exchange because every single time Lupus is going to want to spin, Dudabies just grabs the mace and swats him back as Troy's in big trouble. This will be the first kill of the game for ACA. Picking it up at a decent time. Opportunity maybe to start putting pressure on one of these lanes. You see the mid lane with these, Khazra running at each other. I'm surprised we're not seeing a bit more pressure onto this front wall at mid lane. I think they had a chance there.
Yeah, and now they're picking up their Shaman camp up in the top lane, which is going to be before the Punisher. Or even if it's picked up, you know, and they time it out to coincide with Punisher, it's still in this top lane. Not going to be able to get a whole ton of value while the teams are fighting.
But you got to look at it this way. The only assassin for RG is that Kael'thas. The moment he's down, they can't really easily push you off a wall. Of course, you have the Diablo at the wall that can flip you over. But you got ways that you can put some damage onto that during that little power play, and they didn't end up doing it. Instead, they just went over the camp and held it until just now, 10 seconds before the Shrine's active in this very lane that they were waiting to send the camp out in. So it's not going to get a lot of value. And here we go, objective number 1.
But here's that aggression we were talking about onto the wall. They're going to get the Kael'thas. Yrel diving in and getting that Righteous Hammer back. And that's a big play for them, because while this is a beefy team here, and Sonya's already going to start spinning on those defenders, I think the clear potential goes over to ACA.
Of course, the pull was great for Maiev, but you have to credit Quantum playing the Malfurion, able to land those roots onto Kael'thas earlier. That's what set up the kill. It was just really putting the ball on the tee and swinging the bat at that point for Maiev. Here we go. The Maiev who had the tether after the roots from Malfurion when they got that kill on Kael'thas.
Malfurion's under pressure here from Arthas, but gets close to the wall, so Arthas has to pull back a bit. And 10 to 14 on the Shrine Defender so far, as level 7 is now available for ACA.
Almost level 7 here for RG as a charge into the wall from Diablo. Gonna kind of disrupt EDC for a moment, but back to full health and not too scared at all. Now backside, Noah coming in as Arth is looking for that Howling Blast and does connect. It's Quantum in trouble, and it's Quantum falling first in the fight. Once again, RG attacking the support of ACA just as they were trying to do there in game number 1, and they've been successful thus far. This will end up netting them. This first Punisher of the game will be frozen, and Aero, they're ready to siege here.
Indeed, they've got Arthas now picking up the XP. Yrel been double soaking for the duration of that shrine, giving ACA a little bit of a healthy lead here in XP, about half of the level. Diablo's going to charge in onto my Vince. He's going to power slide way here, so he'll be safe. But the Punisher once again jumping in onto the Bray has this port shut down, and it's going to be about half health. But it's starting to shoot at the Diablo now, so they've got to pull back. They just don't have the minion wave.
Oh, the slows are too big, and here comes Yrel. Going to try to bash him back so far to no avail, but still pressing in. Now it's Lupus on the wrong side of things, getting tethered back by Kelsier, and Lupus will end up falling. Third kill of the game for ACA, as RG not able to complete the disengage.
And with that kill, they're still ahead in the XP, even though Yrel went up into the top lane to help that. And clearing up this lane, the bot lane, that'll keep them on the road to 10 first.
Good power slide that time from my pal Vince. The roots are there again, and ACA showing signs of being in sync here during game number 2. They did, of course, lose that first objective, but what did it really get done, Aero? Not too much. It got through the wall, but RG wasn't really able to siege onto the fort at all, and it doesn't end up falling, and here comes ACA bottom lane, power slide and roots onto Diablo. Very low, tethered back now once again by Maiev, but so sturdy, so healthy, sitting with a completed Black Soulstone, but there they go with the mosh pit, and they end up getting the kill inside the Warden's cage. Now Noah in trouble. Could be the second kill of the fight, but he's got those ghouls out, I think. No, they're not even level 10. He just survived through that. Porky?
Yeah, that was clutch timing for not only for the level 10 but also for ETC, because Ana had just used her sleep dart as level 10 came up, my pal Vince picked up the mosh pit, said, you know what, there are 2 tanks right here. I can lock this down. Nobody can stop me.
And it was just an added benefit, I guess, having that Maev's Warden's Cage, just so when the mosh pit expired, you still can't go anywhere. Bottom
so we
camp.
Didn't, talk about the voter.
Oh yeah, how'd that vote go? Let's take a look. Oh, this time we got some.
Arthas. We got the Twilight Dream coming out, silence onto the Arthas, but
there's the goal.
Charging to the wall, and it's lightning breath coming.
That time with the heroics, a lot different of a team fight for RG. End up getting their 3rd kill of the game, but in terms of how you're seeing the matchups going around the map, does RG really have a favored lane right now? In my opinion, no. Top lane, it's still Yarel winning this lane, even though a bit more damage in the other direction, only because of that objective. And then the rest of the lane's Aero, is it really going in RG's favor? I gotta say no.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, the siege camps have been picked up 100% by ACA in this, and it's kind of a difficult position for ReGen when they're not on the shrines, because Kael'thas can't get the bomb spreads as easily, and that's where a lot of their damage is going to come from, is from Kael'thas. Living bombs and flame strikes. They also need to be in confined areas for Arthas to be of any real use.
Mosh pit back online and see that cursed bullet come out. Another great tether for Maiev. Noah will be safe. Has those ghouls ready to go when he wants to pop them as RG. They set up full presence inside the shrine. Remember that Sonya is here. Going to be whirlwinding and still holding on to that Wrath of the Berserker as pressing in. ACA trying to come in with this Warden's Cage. They do connect, and there's the mosh pit. Connects onto 3 members of RG's team. 2 of them will fall, but falling on the other side will be Malfurion as Porky trying to keep Lupus healthy. Lupus trying to get out of here, and I don't think he gets out as another fantastic power slide connects from my pal Vince, and ACA picks up a triple kill.
And I don't fully understand how, but the tether got onto Ana in that, pulled her in, didn't hit the Sonya at all in this fight. And yet Sonya was between Maiev and Ana. It was really kind of a weird interaction there. Like, Ana, of course, making it out, so it didn't matter, but still just a weird thing to see.
Mortar Punisher top lane, and during that, there was a Bruiser camp pushing in the top lane. You see Noah going to try to clear that. So let's follow the action here at mid as warping in. Kelsier was looking for that tether, but just barely slowed down and then put to sleep by Porky. So it'll be the mid fort falling and a very healthy Mortar Punisher.
So it turns out I completely don't know what I'm talking about, and that did hit Sonya. Okay. I just didn't see that second. Punisher is going to get cleared up, so all of the fort taken out in the mid lane here, and it looks like the call for the siege camp, but the route coming out onto Sonya is going to prevent the engage coming from ReGen. They're actually going to be able to pick up their own siege camp.
So this point in the game, if you're playing and you're captaining this team or one of these teams, what's your strategy? Because no one really has a clear advantage. Of course, there is the XP lead right now, about a level and a quarter for ACA. Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. So I was gonna say, like, if you're ReGen at this point, a lot of your team seems to be built around finding these team fights. You know, Arthas is, you know, there to slow down the auto attacks for Greymane and potentially Maiev as well. The roots to lock down those more mobile heroes. They've been focusing on the Malfurion a lot. And
look at the kill count. They've been focusing Malfurion a lot. The only hero they've killed is Malfurion. 5 deaths and 0 on the rest of the team. So obviously their strategy is clear here. It's target the support. But they're not able to get much more done as warping in again is Maiev. Troy in trouble, lands a gravity lapse, walking into that vent, but he's not getting out of here. Troy at 100 health, trying to get saved by Cho. A little bit of support from Porky as well, but he's in the wall, all by his lonesome, and finally goes down. Cho tethered back as well. But another big pickup, level 16s now for ACA, and I think our shrine about to be called out.
likely soon here. Diablo getting the charge onto my pal Vince. The sleep dart following that power slide just right behind. If that was any closer, that would have been a sleep.
Oh, 4v3, good setup here for RG, but coming down from the mid lane is Urel and Malfurion. And now RG doesn't look to be in a good spot anymore, as Dudabai is going to try to smash a few of these heroes back. There's the Roosh Malfurion, Power Slide, and the Twilight Dream. Diablo falls again, and that should be it for this bottom fort.
You know, and you said neither team really has a clear advantage, but ACA has always been just one step ahead in this game. That said, they were very much the same in the last game. And so the question is, does ReGen's comp gain significantly more value out of level 20? I don't know that it does. I think the biggest thing that it gets is a nano boost upgrade that gives them the self-healing? Maybe? Yeah.
Answer this for me, Aero. Final pick was that Aero, was the Arthas Aero. Do you think it's a wise pick after seeing it? I just don't see what kind of value it's necessarily adding. Not that it's like the issue, but with that final pick, like I feel like they maybe could have gotten something that would have helped a bit more. Noah's just not able to walk in and do what Arthas wants to do.
I tend to agree with you. It's been a very big struggle for them, but this is where it's going to start coming in to value, right? It's on these shrines, and when Warden's Cage goes out and they've got the Arthas to slow down those auto attacks, that's really, I think, what they're going for, is trying to make sure that they slow down the assault.
Here they come, Twilight Dream still 6 seconds away from being ready for Quantum. And ReGen's going to try to get some of their damage in. There's the Phoenix. Is the Mosh Pit going to miss from my pal Vince? Very low as the Twilight Dream finally comes out. There's the Warden's Cage. And Diablo charging that Lightning Breath onto a few targets. Going to get stuck inside. And Hot Cho will fall along with Noah. A double kill on the front line as even more are going down. Troy and Lupus will join. Porky, the only one standing, ends up being a mega kill for the Anti-Clown Association. Now headed toward the mid keep. About to end this game number 2.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, they're going straight for the keep bringing it down and then heading to the core. They've got almost 30 seconds on half of these heroes. And you know what? They've got Greymane, they've got Maiev, they've got Urel. These heroes can all do significant damage to this core. And they're going to even up this score. Murda 1-1.
So, chat, you guys aren't right at all tonight. First game, you picked ACA, they lose. Second game, you picked ReGen, they lose. We got a tied series here on our hands heading into game number 3.
And you know what? I wouldn't have expected anything less. Both of these teams had victories in their in their sets. Previously, Div S, it was a 3-2 in favor of ACA. That was a kind of a frustrating loss for ReGen under the circumstances. And then it was 2-1 in NGS. So, you know, these guys have played a couple of maximum game sets in the last couple of weeks.
And we still have a lot more in store as we take a peek at this match summary brought to you by Nexus Gaming Series. It was a big win there and a lot of kills coming out from Maiev. Kelsey are really one of those pivotal players on the Maiev. Landed a bunch of Warden's Cages, and more importantly, those tethers were on point throughout. It was just Quantum falling on the Malfurion a total of 5 times. But 15 kills for ACA net them the victory on Infernal Shrines. Here's a peek at the talent screen before we head on to our second break of the night. I want to say thank you to all of you joining us tonight. 41 of you out there in the audience. A huge, huge amount of support from you. Got to say thank you. And if you've been tuned in recently here on this channel, recently eclipsing that 1,000 follower mark. Keep them coming. Really glad to be bringing you these NGS matches, especially here in the playoffs. And kudos to the man above me here, Aero, for joining. We'll be back in just a few moments as we get ready for game number 3.
Detected.
can't believe you got back in time. Hold on, I gotta pull you back up. Welcome back to the stream here at twitch.tv/MurdaRG. Of course, I'm joined by Aero tonight. Thanks for joining us, my man. What a game number 2 that was for ACA. It really put their foot back down after 19.5 minutes of winning in game 1. That was a pretty dominant performance, especially in the second half there on Infernal Shrines.
You know, I gotta say, when ReGen Phoenix in Season 7 struggled, it was because we took too long. We would win. We would have those exact games where we would go 80%, 90% of the game, and then we would be winning throughout the whole game, and then we would lose a fight and lose the game. And that's not quite what happened, but the result ends up being the same. And what I told my team at that time was, we have to stop playing these games to 20 minutes. If we win the game in 15 minutes, it's over. And that's exactly what ACA did.
They certainly did. And I think at one point, the kills were a bit closer. It seemed like structurally there wasn't a huge advantage either way. ReGen looked strong during objectives, but they never had the team fight. They just never did. They tried killing that Malfurion off a few times. Of course, they were able to do that a total of 5 times, but not once were they able to take anyone else out in the matchup. So with a comp like that, you got to be looking for more kills, and they just didn't end up getting it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they needed more time, and I think they needed more aggression when they were in those skeletal defender areas, right? When the shrines were up, to be able to make use of it, and they just didn't have the capability to make that work. So I think maybe that, you know, in some ways, I mentioned the leap. I think that maybe, you know, they went into the Wrath of the Berserker because they needed the extra damage from Sonya. They went into the ghouls. I'm ready, by the way. They went into the ghouls to give Arthas additional sustain. I almost wonder if they shouldn't have gone into the leap and possibly even Syndragosa for that additional value.
That additional surprise value. Yeah, you
right.
Bring Arthas on the flank, throw the Syndragosa out, Sonya can leap in, they're all slow, they can't get away from her spins, and then it's really just up to an interrupt happening as we are ready for our game number 3 draft. Cursed Hollow, the selection by ACA.
And this is a big map. I'm not sure if it's bigger than Infernal Shrines, right? It's got to be. I think this is the biggest map in the game.
It's a big boy.
Yeah. Dragonshire was a pretty small map, so having the Samuro there, you know, gave them a lot of value. They kind of neutered Samuro for big maps like this with the changes to Illusion Master, so I don't expect to see them necessarily pull that up, but this is a pretty solid Abathur map.
Pretty solid Abathur map. Of course, we did see the Dahaka in game number 1 picked up by ACA, another stronger map for a Dahaka, as Kelsey are going to ban away the ETC from their own My Pal Vince,
detected.
but we've seen this be a targeted hero throughout the game, so they're not wanting to give it over to ReGen as we get another follow, this one coming from Tithel TTV. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for hitting that follow button.
So, Cursed Hollow, I don't know about the Divest game, but at least in the NGS game, was game number 3, and it went over to Anti-Clown Association. So, this was the selection of ACA. They obviously feel comfortable enough to bring them here to get another victory.
Ana's still available. You also see Sylvanas making it through this ban phase as well, as Abathur ends up being the final one there for Anti-Con Association. And the Sylvanas being available quickly picked up for Troy. Going to leave that Ana as an option now for ACA. Who else has been targeted tonight that just made it through? I suppose the Yarel was a focus a bit, and the Cho'Gall banned out twice by ACA, but not here on Cursed Hollow. There's the Ana pick for Quantum. That was expected. But what else do they grab here? Is it perhaps the Johanna? No, it's going to be some global. Falstead for Got Filth.
So we also saw some Uther and Yarel bans earlier. Obviously, Yarel getting some value there on Infernal Shrines. So we'll see if that changes up at all, how they play on Cursed Hollow or who they choose to pick.
Surprised we don't see the Johanna there. Just seeing as though the ETC was banned out, Mal'Ganis also taken away. I feel like just getting that tank pick in would further choke out my pal Vince. But they go with Zeratul, they go with Malfurion. That's going to be a VP and maybe a Twilight Dream from Porky. 10 seconds on this final ban for ACA, and I don't really know what they target. Is it a tank?
Yeah, I think it's probably Uther, right?
Could be.
Okay. I
Interesting.
lost my touch. It was there in game number 2, and it's just gone for game number 3.
A new Barak kind of, to me, means they might want the Lee-Ming again here. But they've
It also
already...
means they might want the Cho'Gall.
That could be a 2. That could be a
Right,
2
they've got
because
Ana.
yeah, they got the Ana. So is this a Cho'Gall ban? I think it has to be a Cho'Gall ban, you're right. And it's Greymane. So will this be Cho'Gall? Has to be here.
So in chat, asking about the map bans, ReGen banned out Battlefield of Eternity and Tomb of the Spider Queen, and ACA banned out Volskaya Foundry and Sky Temple.
Game 1, if you missed it, was Dragonshire. Game 2 is Infernal Shrines. And here, Game 3, Cursed Hollow, as Hanzo and Imperius are selected by ACA. They don't go with the Cho'Gall. But they do pick up some of that range damage for Kelsier. Hanzo going to be able to harass these points. Final selections for ReGen. Tyrael, Genji. Kind of, to me, looks like an HGC 2018 comp.
Looks kind of like it. They want to go straight in. They've got the Judgment. They've got the Genji. They got the Zeratul. They even have Sylvanas. I mean, they have all kinds of ways to dive in on probably Ana, as we can see the team is basically saying, yeah, this is an Ana target.
I'm wondering if they swap the Genji around over to Noah. I know he has a preference playing the hero. We'll find out, as the final pick will be Diablo. Switching hands here. Was played in game 2 by ReGen. This time will be played by ACA. And now that we've seen all of our picks, Aero, it's time to go back to the chat and ask them once again who will win this game number 3. Will it be
And
ACA?
it is, they did
or
switch
RG?
Genji Zeratul for it.
They did. I figured that was
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, they were nice enough. They listened to you.
And the poll is active, so if you want to participate, please go into your chat. Apparently it works on mobile now. Select the team you want to win and be sure to hit the submit button. Your votes will show up live here on the stream. And I'll keep an eye on those and chat about it in just a minute. But Aero, what are your thoughts heading into this game number 2?
Oh, well, I was just trying to show on the camera there. It does show on mobile, so there you go. I mean, two games in a row I've said I've liked ACA's draft. This one I have to go with ReGen. I like their comp. I think that they've got the potential to just absolutely destroy any target that they go after.
Well, I'll give you a second to introduce them after I talk about ACA. Here we got Filth on the Falstead. My pal Vince playing Diablo. Quantum on Ana once again. And Kelsier switching over to Hanzo. Top lane will be Dudabides on Imperius. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the Anti-Clown Association.
Alrighty, and here for ReGen, it's going to be Malfurion playing TT... right. TT Porky playing Malfurion. I might have had it right the first time. Genji played by Noah. Sylvanas going to be played by Troy. Tyrael going to be played by Hot Cho. And Lupus on the Zeratul for ReGen.
There's Tyrael and Hot Cho. We found them. Okay. No level 1 attack from the Sylvanas team. Interesting there.
Was Hot Cho missing?
He was just kind of out of my camera range, and I was trying to find him. It wasn't you. It was a me thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Linehouse, welcome to chat. Dropping some emotes. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here for this Heroic Division semifinal.
PS4 lives mattered. Oh, sorry, guys. But don't you even have phones?
Yeah, don't you guys have phones?
You can vote in Twitch on phones now. All right, so the Bruiser Camp's going to be the selected option here for ReGen with the Siege Camp by ACA. And that's because, of course, both of these are in the top half of the map. whereas the first tribute is also going to be up there in the top half. Pretty much dead center in the upper half there.
Yeah, so first trib honestly will favor ReGen because they can hold off that siege camp just a bit longer, push it out with the objective, that first tribute. Huge advantage? Probably not. There is the Fallstead available for ACA, so he should be able to clear a camp like that up and then fly in and help out if they still have time. Or, you know, they just give up a first tribute. So it appears as though that's going to be the play for ReGen, as they still haven't sent anyone over to that siege camp yet.
Yeah, they might. I was thinking that they might, with that Sylvanas, choose to go ahead and pick up that siege camp and then just push in the bot lane. Tyrael getting pretty low there. He's going to have to use that well tap. And the tribute's going to be announced in about 20 seconds, as level 4 is for both teams up. And it is going to be the possession for Sylvanas as opposed to the Merc Queen.
Look at the value, though. They get the entire front wall, both of the turrets. Spell armor still up here. And that mage minion still pretty healthy, sitting at about 75% health. Finally going to take a bit of damage there from Hanzo. Did go in at level 4 with the explosive arrows to help out with the wave clear. Hot Cho's going to press in here on Tyrael, and now flying in is Noah with that swift strike. And once again, targeting the support of ACA. ReGen able to find the first blood here on Cursed Hollow.
And they've really been focusing on that support player, Quantum, the whole time, right? I mean, we talked about it last game. Even in game number 1, it was very much of a target. And, you know, Ana is a very difficult... She doesn't have a lot of mobility, right? Neither does Malfurion. So we'll have to see if that affects them in these later games at all. If they choose to take a little bit more mobile hero, like a Lucio, or if they take perhaps a sturdier hero, like maybe the Uther.
So it was a tribute forfeit by ACA, as they did see that camp picked up in the bottom lane, just as I suspected ReGen would be wanting to do. Got Filth remained in this lane this whole time, so he's here to try to make a defense, but Lupus also standing nearby on the Zeratul. Perhaps going to try to harass him off.
Yeah, and they kind of had to with the Ana kill too, right? There wasn't a lot of potential poke, I think, other than the Hanzo there. Hanzo doesn't have a whole lot of health. With this dive comp, that would be very difficult for Hanzo to try to poke out safe.
So mid lane, fort already down, and pressuring once again. ReGen this time onto the top lane fort wall, and got a bit of work done onto that bottom turret. Second tribute spawning in 10 seconds. And I think position should favor ReGen, just because they have this vision back here. It's a bit more on their side of the map. They can do more with their attack angles. But I like this pressure already set up in this bush from ACA. And now flying in with the spear is due to buy. It's not going to connect. And back behind the wall, ReGen will be safe. Heading back towards the point is Genji, swift striking to get a little bit of distance, but shouldn't have nearly enough space to get this tribute yet. Zeratul top.
Coming down, but yeah, exactly. Zeratul's top, so this should be able to be picked up by ACA, but there's definitely some stall potential from these very mobile heroes.
And camp was pushing mid, just now cleared up by Zeratul. He's going to make the rotation down towards his tribute. Another stall, that one coming out from Troy. Final one about to be picked up. No, swift strike shuriken from Noah. Another stall for RG as they press in even closer this time. Now Tyrael gets the interrupt. But my pal Vince just made that look ridiculous. A double kill for ACA, as Tyrael is going to look for that newfound trait value. What a play there. ACA getting their first trib.
Yeah, maybe not. Oh, does Genji make it out? I think he still has it. No, he didn't. He hopped over the wall, so he doesn't even have his cyber agility. Malfurion going to be able to keep him alive, though. Now the tribute going over to ACA.
The stalls were real, maybe making a bit more sense why they didn't mind keeping Lupus up in the top lane. You got a bit of value here. Going to work on that turret and almost get it all the way down. Let's see how low it actually goes. Will it fall? It falls. Wow.
And that, I mean, that's pretty unfortunate here for ACA. They've got a fort down mid lane. They've got the wall down top lane. No damage yet in the bot lane, but the boss is, yeah, the boss is coming up.
Both sides. Same idea.
Yeah, level 10's here for ACA.
Who's this going to favor? Probably ACA. I think it means they get the tribute for free. ReGen's not going to want to go for it. and they can afford to give one up here at least. Do they go for it? They're staying here. I'm surprised by this move, Aero, but it looks like RG willing to stay in the top lane and give up some damage in that bottom lane as Falstead able to bribe away a camp. Genji's now in chase. Godfilth trying to fly D-Strike. Ooh, that D-Blade ain't getting the kill. Filth able to fly out, but it's Imperious falling in the top lane as the Twilight Dream not to pick up. Here we do see the Tranquility selected by Malfurion being played by Porky.
Red team has
And that was a long time that it took for them to kill the Imperious. They had 4 heroes on it. He did use that angelic armor.
Oh, 8 health! It was 8 health!
On Noah?
No, onto Falstead.
slain.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Falstead dropped to 8 health. Noah chased, didn't get the kill. That siege camp is still pushing Aero. The boss just got through the fort. And now this is a head scratcher now. How much ReGen was willing to give up in this bottom lane. Everyone's starting to head back to base. They end up getting about the same in the top lane. But how worth it is it?
You know, they have the Sylvanas, so there's that. But as we've seen, I mean, ACA has so far in both of these games, early game they've done really well, and opening up that bottom lane and getting that wall down and all that means that if they find the right pressure at the right time, this turns into game over for ReGen. Obviously, it can go the other way too, right? ACA has their own wall down in the top lane, so it's a bit tough for either team. They have to be a little bit careful. But these early games have generally been favoring, it seems like, ACA.
2 tributes in favor of ReGen right now as ACA is going to try to set up around this point. We do see Zeratul in the bottom lane, the only hero nearby for RG. And it appears as though they might be willing to give this up, but you saw what happened last time, Aero. They stalled this thing out forever. Will they go for it again without their level 13 talents?
And they're looking hesitant. They're moving around, but not quite in a position to come into it. So it is just going to even out the tributes 2-2. And you know, I do want to point out too, it's actually not judgment. They went into the sanctification, so no VP as well. So very much going for that dive with the Might of the Nerazim, and Tyrael just, I guess, can use his Druids to get into those.
Point control on bosses. I like the sanctification here on Cursed Hollow. Also will help them along with the Sylvanas, as you see Genji now leaping onto Imperious, but it will help them along with the Sylvanas when they're pushing in Black Arrows type stuff, and you gotta expect eventually Diablo's gonna be there, so sanctification could be that power play they're looking for. As we're even in XP, our 5th tribute of the game is about to happen. Both teams on 2. So curse point either way.
And whichever team gets this, gets a keep for sure. Both of those lanes are pushed up at the keeps, pretty close. So whoever gets it is going to be able to push in on that keep very easily.
Backside.
Boss timers are still pretty long though.
Yeah, backside here comes Noah along with Zeratul. The silence is in play from Sylvanas, and quickly a double kill for RG. Now it's Imperious popping those armaments, trying to keep himself alive, but doesn't have any support as Ana's already fallen. There's Tyrael with the Holy Ground up and lock it in. Will be the curse for RG. Look where they're set up. 20 seconds before Hanzo respawns. At least 15 until Ana's here as well. Can RG make it to the core before they respawn? My pal Vin's going to try to shut that down. I don't think they go core here. Can they? Can they afford to? I think they're going to go for it.
I don't know if they can necessarily get this. They do have the sanctification though, so they at least have that extra time. The Dragon's Arrow is going to come in. The flex coming from Genji, so shielding is gone. 70%, 60-50. They might be able to do this. Lupus is going to fall.
Sylph has no mana. Sylph is down. Noah's staying here. 10%. Tyrael explosion. 1%. Oh, GG. Game number 3 quickly ends just like game number 1 in favor of ReGen.
And Malfurion, the only one left alive, ended up getting that last shot because Tyrael brought it down to 1%, but Malfurion's the one who had to hit it with that Moonfire to take it.
That was a tight one. And once again, I just said, just like game number 1, it looks like RG is losing. Like ReGen was behind here in game number 3 again. but they find the one fight, the quick double kill, the setup from that silence arrow from Troy. They get the double, make it 3 when Imperius falls, and that's all they need with the curse. They end it quickly. 11 minutes total there on Cursed Hollow. And RG now just 1 game away from punching their ticket to the NGS Season 8 Heroic Division Grand Finals. Here's that talent screen before we go to our next break of the night. Aero, anything about that game you got to discuss?
You know, the main thing that I've got to say about that is this is the first time that ReGen has taken a 2-1 advantage over ACA. In the last 2 sets, ACA won the 2-1. ACA won, they won the 3-2, but it started off with them winning the 2-1 as well, and then ReGen came back. I think they actually went up 2 games first, and then ReGen came back to win the other 2. So ReGen looking really strong here. And you know what? Their comp did exactly what I was looking for, right? They went in, they blew them up, and then they cleaned it up. So really exciting match. I'm looking forward to seeing game number 4.
Shout out in chat to Super Carve and the Lazy Hydra for stopping in tonight. Thanks for being here, fellas. We're going to be heading into this next break, but we'll be back very quickly for our game number 4 here between ACA and RG. And I forgot, I don't have this on my stream deck. Here we go. And welcome back as we are returning after game number 3 was handed over to RG in kind of quick fashion. 11 minutes on Cursed Hollow. Only took that 1 curse and a quick triple kill and a core call. Aero, we're ready here for our game number 4 already. I'm gonna let them know we have ours. I'm assuming you have ours.
I'm good.
And quickly, I got to shout out, I hope you're still there, my dear friend, my good old friend. We used to play this game called Star Wars The Old Republic together for a really long time. Shout out to Magic518 in chat. My good friend, thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Appreciate seeing you, and I really love you joining this exciting playoff action here for the Nexus Gaming Series Heroic Division. It's the semifinals, number 2 versus number 3. Right now, it's RG on top, 2-1 in this best of 5.
We're going to see that Deathwing ban, so that's been coming out a couple of times here. We still haven't seen the Cho'Gall, so this is a map where I think we could see Cho'Gall. And it's ReGen that's got first pick here. So switching it up there with the win going over, electing for map pick instead of first pick.
And they're deciding to ban out this ETC again, which, of course, we've seen banned out now 3 times by them. Game 1, 3, and now game 4. Mal'Ganis is going to follow just as it did in game number 3 from RG. Will this be the Abathur ban again? Maybe not on Towers of Doom.
I mean,
maybe?
It's not picked that often, but it does get a lot of value. And, you know,
okay,
I've seen
I like
a
this
lot
better.
of... Yeah, I like the Cho ban, but Abathur Samuro, I've seen get a lot of value here.
Ooh, Super Carve RG in chat with a fresh new name? Frickin' fresh, he says. I love it.
Man,
Sylvanas
really
first
started the movement over here.
You did. Well, technically, I started the movement. Let's get that straight.
Fair. Yeah.
Sylvanas
energized.
You did. You certainly did. You reinvigorated the movement. How about that?
Fair.
Ana, Leeming. We've seen these few, and the Sylvanas pick as well. Zeratul Malfurion. This is looking exactly like last game so far for RG. The same exact pick order as they did there on Cursed Hollow. They're going for again here on Towers of Doom.
Ana's gonna have some trouble here. So I'm actually a little bit surprised to see them go back into the Ana. Just given how much they've been focusing on the healers. So maybe they'll pick up something to support their support. We talked about his Zarya last game or the game before. I mentioned the possibility of an Uther. There goes the Anubarak here, so at least they're not going to have an additional dive. But they could still do the Tyrael Genji.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the Leeming last game. They ended up going with the Hanzo along with the Imperius in this next slot. Do they go back to a hero like Imperius for the solo lane? I don't see why not. They also had success earlier with Yrel. I think can be very strong here on Towers of Doom. Or maybe something like Dahaka, one of his strongest maps. And they did play it in game number 1, so they have a few options for that solo lane here, and I think any of them would be valid. It's going to be Yrel.
And they brought in the Uther as well. I was going to say the Yrel would be really helpful because that dive comes in, Yrel can just hit her Hammer of the Righteous, and there you go, Ana's safe, right? At least for the moment. Uther now coming into that provides even more protection for the Ana, whether it's in the form of that Hammer of the Righteous, as opposed to Righteous Hammer, which I think I just got screwed up on Yrel's ability. Or, you know what? Maybe he takes the Divine Shield.
Johanna and Lupus gonna select a Tracer. We'll see if that ends up getting swapped again for RG, just as they did with the Genji there in game number 3. But Tracer, an interesting selection here on Towers of Doom, definitely gives them kill potential, and more notably, kill potential onto this Ana, as they've been trying to get all day, but this time will be double support with this main tank Uther. Does that change the scenario, and does Tracer really get value into a comp like this? What a great pick in the number 5 slot. Raynor going to be able to auto-attack down Tracer this whole game. I think the draft goes to ACA. I don't see it this time for RG. They have the dive, of course, yes. But is this double support going to be enough? I think it might be.
I think it might be as well. They have the dive, they have the potential from Sylvanas, Zeratul, Tracer, so they can get in there, but Uther's going to be able to provide that armor. Uther's going to be able to provide a point-click stun for anybody that walks in. You've got Yrel, who can knock everybody back and really disrupt the push in. And then, Raynor can follow up with a penetrating round if he so chooses. Meanwhile, all those heroes are going to probably take a Calamity to the face. Maybe some Arcane Missiles. So I really like ACA's draft here.
I'm trying to get the poll out quickly before we start this, and I never did talk about game number 3. You guys picked ACA. They ended up losing, as we are loaded in here to our game number 4. And on the left-hand side, it'll be my pal Vince playing the main tank Uther. Kelsier gonna hop in on the Rainer, got Filth on Li Ming, Quantum playing the Ana once again, and as Duda Bides playing the Aero for the second time tonight. Make some noise for the number 2 seed out of the Heroic Division. They are the Anti-Clown Association.
All right, and over here for ReGen, the number 3 seed, we've got Noah playing the Tracer. It's gonna be in the bot lane here. Porky playing Malfurion. We've got Hotcho on the Johanna. And Troy 1010 on the Sylvanas. Going to be Lupus there on the Zeratul. And this time, with the Sylvanas, they are going to go into that bot lane. Also, don't forget to switch your scene.
Oh, yeah. Switch my scene would be fantastic, right? There we go. I'm also having an issue where, like, my camera's, like, locked right now. I don't know what I did. Let's see. E, O. No, not O.
Hit 1 and then hit E. You targeted...
Okay, that's what I did. I did that. Okay. That time it worked. Thank you.
Yeah, when you target a hero, you have to, like... I don't understand why this works, but you have to target somebody else in there.
Yeah, and I usually just, I'm like, hit the 1 key or whatever, and then E. I know that works. I thought I did it. It worked. All right. Game 4 votes coming in quickly, though, and looks like, once again, you guys are rooting for ACA here. 4 votes already, just the 2 for RG, but still a couple more seconds to get those votes in.
Ghost RG obviously says Super Carve. Carve even looking at this vote?
Lead off stun by my pal Vince. Looking for the Tracer as Urel going to hop in as well. But RG able to secure the camp with the help of Malfurion's roots. And they'll be able to disengage. Still no first blood here on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, and you know what? Last game we had a 30-second kill, if I remember correct. Wasn't it? Or was that game? That was probably game.
I think it... Was it last game? No, that was the game with the Diablo, so that was game 2.
I mean, last game had it.
Oh, true. I meant ReGen's Diablo.
Right. Sapper camps picked up by both teams here. Gonna get a little bit of value out of the ReGen.
Yeah, all three. All 3 ran in. Level 4. Let's see this level 4 pickup. It will be possession again for Sylvanas. I was thinking maybe here on Towers of Doom. I like the value you get having the Merc Queen. And there you see the Black Arrow shutting down these sappers before they run into the towers. Good job by Troy there, as all 3 will be cleared up. My pal Vince, a little bit of armor reduction trying to get out. He should be fine. But yeah, I love the value you can get from a Merc Queen here because they do grow and they do additional damage when the sappers connect. But possession, I think you can make the case for it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a map where, you know, the forts and keeps still provide XP, and being able to capitalize on the additional minions and getting that additional damage into the structures, putting additional pressure into those lanes is high value for late game especially.
So we got to talk about this. It appears to me as though ACA willing to double soak with the Urel, where RG leaving Tracer mid, Zeratul top. So it is a 4v3 bottom lane so far for ACA. But look at the structure advantage. Currently RG in the lead with the help of those sappers earlier. And they also ahead in the XP race by about a full level right now.
Yeah, and I think that may change a little bit when we get 7, depending on what Urel takes for her 7. If she takes Divine Steed, or if she takes the other thing, I don't know. Pulse Bomb going out onto that Urel. She does try to jump over that wall, but ends up going into the corner. She didn't make it out, though.
Sleep Dart connects onto 2, but Li Ming had sent her missiles in a separate direction. So ReGen not going to take the brunt of the damage on that attack, as this bottom side altar still active. Neither side really willing to channel it in this spot. You see Troy Porky nearby for ReGen. Now Kelsier, my pal Vince, starting to press in for ACA. As camps are starting to respawn on the right side for ReGen. A little bit longer on the left for ACA. Noah gonna hop back in on the Tracer, looking for damage onto Uther, but he's just fine. Orbs coming in from Li Ming. Won't connect as the altar finally grabbed by RG.
So 2-1 in favor of ReGen there on the altars. So they've got a little bit of an advantage in the points here. But you know what? Towers of Doom, where the points only matter when it's the last one.
Looking for another camp is ReGen, but here comes ACA just a moment too late once again. Second time trying to invade the camp, but showing up just a few moments late. ReGen grabs it, able to get back to safety as now Troy's starting to harass from the flank side. Sappers are starting to run towards that bottom lane. At least one of them is. The other two in there. I think one of them, yeah, two of them down.
Yeah, one of them makes it there. Troy getting brought pretty low there by the but is going to be able to pull behind that wall. Sappers should be able to get cleared before it gets close to that wall, I would think. Except now the rotation coming in from Sylvanas. Johanna's going to condemn in onto Uther here, but Troy's just not quite close enough to be able to get the damage. Then again, Matt Palvince came back in to try to, I don't know what he did.
He's in a rough spot here. Sitting low on health, finally gets Ana walking down to help support him. Hotcho gonna have to escape, but remember, it is just Johanna. She's gonna be just fine. Mid, it's still Yrel trying to double soak up against Tracer and Zeratul. But take note, Lupus up here just allowing these minions to crash really deep in. They're killing off a lot of the red minions. XP globes are being missed. Ooh, there's first blood finally.
That was a great shot from Li Ming as Sylvanas was trying to cross the threshold of her own wall. The arcane orb coming in right at the wall and finishing Sylvanas about 40% health.
It was a full level lead for ReGen. How did that dissipate? I lost track of how that flipped. Is it just Yrel double soaking effectively now? Because it didn't seem like she was having the success. As now Porky will be second the fall for RG. Shots being fired from the altar from Yrel. We got a tie ball game.
And I think that, you know, the Divine Steed pickup there at 7, giving Yrel the opportunity to get through those lanes very quickly. She's got more wave clear than the Tracer. But we've got the Wailing Arrow coming up. Pulse Bomb gonna land, and Rainer's gonna fall. My Palvince also in danger, but Sylvanas is gonna be able to fall on the other side. And with that Divine Storm, Tracer gonna get taken out. Zeratul coming in, looking for Got Phil. But not quite able to.
So Porky fell to start that? No, he went back to base? He wasn't there.
Porky
That's why I'm
was at the very
asking.
beginning of.
Okay, all right.
He was that second kill that you mentioned, and then you know, the continued pressure.
He was still dead. I got you.
Yeah. So yeah, so my point is the Divine Steed with Yrel having actual wave clear as compared to Tracer who has none, and Zeratul who isn't really pressuring the lane.
Yeah, they're just
She's able to
soaking the
pick that
lane.
up. Yeah.
Kelsier able to pressure back Troy a bit that time. Sylvanas going to use that early well tap as they have to clear off these sappers that are starting to press from their own side of the map. Just one remains standing as our next altar phase has been announced. 19 seconds till we're ready to go. ReGen a bit further behind in getting to the point, and also a little bit further behind in the XP right now, as level 13s are around the corner for ACA. Yrel in trouble, gets a lot of damage coming out, especially with the boost from Quantum Spike at level 10 from Tracer.
The altars have risen.
And Anna's going to go ahead and pick up her side here for ACA as Malfurion going to be working on ReGen. So just 1-for-1 it's looking like. Due to Bides, however, getting some damage from the Tracer. No Pulse Bomb available just yet, and still the Ardent Defender available as well.
The gentleman's agreement, Aero, as is customary here on Towers of Doom. Resuming duties in the bottom lane, though, is ReGen trying to finally push in towards that keep, but they're not going to be able to as My Palvince walks on in, Hammer of Justice with the big D-Storm. They get the kill on Malfurion, but they can't find more. Is this enough space to get down the first keep of the game, Aero? I think it is, especially with these sappers nearby.
Yeah, those coming in, the question is, can they get it down before the sappers get here so that they can maybe have the potential for additional shots? Doesn't quite look...
One of
well,
them.
they do get one. They kept one.
That's worth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, any additional points you can get out of this are potentially the difference between winning or losing.
Ektar hopping in chat saying, what's up? How you doing? Head mod here for NGS and checking out the action here in his heroic division.
Sapper is going to go down there, but, you know, Troy ate a lot of damage from the Li Ming before it quite had gotten there. Manages to get healed back up thanks to Porky on the Malfurion, but it was looking a little dangerous there for a moment.
So given the current status and ReGen's capability of really only being able to work on the support heroes tonight. How do you feel in terms of this game ending? 5-1 currently, the kill count in favor of ACA. Do you see that changing at any of these talent tiers? Once again, it's Yrel escaping up against the attack of Zeratul and Tracer. But Aero, what could be the difference maker? Is that level 16 spike for Zeratul going to be enough?
I think that's really what you're looking at, is if Zeratul, along with, you know, Tracer's additional potential sustained damage, I think they might be able to find something, especially if they can get kills like what they just got off of.
Bottom lane should be open here for Ana, unless if... Okay, Hot Cho walking in. He should have that flashlight at least to try to stall. Mid, let's keep an eye here. Yrel versus Zeratul currently, as they're both dancing around the shrine. Here comes Noah on the Tracer.
Now, there is one other thing now for Yrel. At level 13, she, instead of going into, I think it's Light of Caribor, she went into Aldor Peacekeeper, so that Vindication's going to drop the damage of any heroes within her Vindication by 40%.
ReGen able to split up ACA here. They're on separate sides of this map, and Li Ming all the way back at base. Going to give them both of these altars and an 8-shot lead after kind of looking like they were falling behind in this one. I'm kind of surprised they're able to quickly rebound, found that kill, and found both of those altars. A huge swing for ReGen.
Not only that, but they managed to pick up their bottom fort back as well. Because without that, that was a very difficult pickup in the bot lane, but they pick it up, they get the additional points. 8 instead of 6. Oh, but this could be it. Sylvanas getting stunned. She's going to get the Divine Storm, but never mind.
Orb miss.
Going out.
Yeah, if Godfilth connected that orb, I think Troy might have fallen. It was a great interrupt on the Haunting Wave. As you see Troy still playing aggressive with that Haunting Wave, and knowing that Uther doesn't have the D-Storm right now, I think it's a time for ReGen to think about attacking. We'll see if they pull down the Tracer and the Zeratul and look for something here. Yrel's all the way up top. You got to think this is the moment, and it looks like Noah's going to start walking in.
Troy getting very low thanks to those, and here it is, the Calamity. Along with the Nano Boost here, the Pulse Bomb's going to miss. Hacho in danger, is going to get stunned, uses the Iron Skin, and with that level 16 movement speed, he's going to get out, but not quite. Going to pick up the Subdue, though. And that'll be very helpful for them later in the game when she is back on the map.
Well, the issue that time, Noah missing the pulse round and not able to secure the kill. They end up losing 2 in the fight, and that bottom keep again, a huge advantage for ACA holding on to this bottom lane as a triple altar phase is spawning, potentially 15 shots for ACA if they're able to get all 3.
And that's a really tough time to have 2 of your heroes die, Sylvanas and Johanna. So Rainer's going to pick up bottom basically for free. There's no way they can stall that out. And now they've got Yrel coming in. She does have Ardent Defender, so she could be aggressive on this, but ultimately she's just gonna threaten. So it's going to be 10 shots to... And now we're back very close on these points, 17 to 18.
We'll call it a tie again. 17-18, same thing. Or will it? Watch it be a 1-point game at the end, and you're just laughing at me.
Oh, man. It'll be that one sapper, if only it had made it through.
All right, so ReGen going to try to regain control of the bottom lane, but a great defense so far as Uther walking into the death zone, taking 75% of his health, but not enough from that blessed shield from Johanna. Really, no attack from ReGen happening without their Zeratul, without their Tracer. Both been soaking the entire game. They haven't really shown that they want to bring these heroes down to the bottom. That last fight, I thought they had an opportunity to. They started bringing the Tracer down, but they had already lost their Sylvanas by the time she got there. It didn't work out, and you saw what happened afterward.
So I do want to point out, so we talked about the level 16 talent. So there's the stun Johanna getting the anti-wing grenade this time. And the penetrating round anti-synergy there with the Arcane Orb, just knocking Johanna out of the Arcane Orb. Probably could have been a kill there. But, we were talking about the 16 talents. Zeratul's got that Void Slash with cooldown. But there's another one I want to talk about.
I thought Sylva's going to live on 1 health. It said 1 on my screen. But ended up finally falling. I think the auto attack from Raynor, yeah, it looks like that was the case. Here comes Lupus backside. Doesn't have VP in this game. Went for Might of the Nerazim. Standing right in front of Uther. I don't know if my pal Vince felt him. Definitely touched him.
I mean, Yeah, I was going to say, I think he has an idea, but holy cow, look at the Li Ming resets coming in, setting up the plays. Li Ming has no mana, so she's just auto-attacking Johanna.
This is going to be a big advantage and maybe a chance at a boss here as well for ACA. Look at the death timers on Zeratul and Tracer. They do still control this bottom lane. It looks like Raynor is going to be working on a sapper camp. So not opting for the 4 points. They're looking for the 3 and the hold here on the keep.
And that's value. I mean, we don't know yet where the next altar is going to be. It's, if I had to guess, it'll probably be like the 2 in the top. We just saw the middle one, so it'll either be like only, is it ever only bottom? I feel like it sometimes is bottom. But it is the 2 in the top. So holding on to this bot lane gives them all the pressure in the world. They can continue to get siege camps. And with the heroes dead, they're going to get some value out of mid lane. What I was going to say about those level 16s, though, so Johanna gets the movement speed, but Tracer going 13 into Ricochet, and then also Locked and Loaded. If you can time those, Locked and Loaded is such a huge burst damage. Critical attacks on all of the Tracer's attacks there. And then Ricochet is basically a 50% increase in damage, because it just auto-shoots to somebody else nearby.
ReGen able to hold off those sappers from crossing the line, ends up netting that play for ACA when they maybe had an opportunity for a boss. They end up netting 0 core shots. So perhaps a mistake, perhaps they had enough time. You be the judge at home as we're looking at our next altar phase in 20 seconds. They're going to be on the top side of the map, left and right. This is that gentleman's agreement setup. Will it be the case again? I don't know for ReGen because they don't have control of their bottom shrine right now. And that's never good news when you're heading into 2 altars.
Yeah, and you've got triple sappers going through, so those are very likely to get through. But the timing is such that ACA is a little bit late getting in here. The sleep going out onto the Tracer, but it's Li Ming and Raynor getting caught by the Wailing Arrow. Yrel Ana, and now my pal Vince going to get caught. But maybe actually makes it out.
Mega kill for ReGen during the objective. Long timers, 45 seconds on every single person. Except Uther. He had redemption. They did hit level 20. My pal Vince back on the map, but ReGen looking to pressure off these bell towers. Where's Uther going? Is he just soaking mid or trying to sneak the backside bell tower?
Red team has destroyed a fort.
All right, so let's do some math. So they get that one. That, if they get both of these, that's 8. The boss is 12.
They're going boss. Still working on that bottom bell tower.
So that's going to bring them down to 9. The bottom bell tower would make it down to 4, and there's 3 points on the sappers at the top. So they can't yet win this game off of this altar.
Oh, but they can full pressure here. This is going to be 5 shots now, sending ACA down to a total of 4 on their core. So sapper camps not enough to win yet, but pretty much a end game scenario to say the least for ReGen. Remember, just 1 map away from punching their ticket to the NGS Heroic Division Grand Finals. And they do secure that bottom bell tower.
And the siege camp is available here as well. So this is going to be, at the best case scenario, if they take this, it's 3 points. But check it out. Bottom altar is the next one coming up. So this is very important for ACA to get their bottom bell tower back, or it just suddenly becomes a suicide.
Oh, Noah has the blinks to get back out. But interesting, sappers are in the bottom lane. They have to rotate here quickly. Yrel's gonna make it in time, but they didn't focus on regaining control of this bottom bell tower, instead trying to play defense on the rest of their structures. And RG, the moment they see this split, they're going for it again. Now the Blessed Shield coming out onto Ana. The roots are there from Malfurion. And once again, picking on the support is RG. But my pal Vince looking to go the other direction. And they do the same up against Porky. He falls. Hotcho's down as well. A double kill for ACA. Potentially saving the end of this game. Altar spawning in 20 seconds. Aero, what a finish we have. Getting ready to finish up here for us. What is going to happen now? I think this one's got to go over to ACA.
I don't know. I would assume so. but they do still have Tracer, Sylvanas, and Zeratul. There's no Divine Storm, so the big threat would be the Hammer of the Righteous, or Righteous Hammer, rather. Instead, Sylvanas and Zeratul are going to head up top. They're going to shut down the point, and it looks like we're going to get 3 shots from this altar.
And the defense coming quickly. Here comes Raynor with that Raider, but it's too late. Top bell tower down in favor of RG. Sappers are behind them quickly on the point. Sylvanas and Tracer. And there will be Sappers now pressuring the top lane against ACA. They do regain control of the mid lane. But now with heroes respawning, Malfury and Johanna back on the map, they're going to be warping towards mid.
So at this point, ReGen is within 1 altar. ACA currently within 2 altars. And ReGen's going to keep the pressure on this bottom tower, and this is a huge play for them because the next altars are both in the bot lane. ReGen only needs 1 of them, and it's a lot easier to get that bottom altar if you've taken the enemy team's fort in that bottom lane.
ACA smart move coming through the top side, through the mid lane, down towards his bottom lane, but they are scouted. I think Hot Cho just saw him. Lupus near that bush, they do moonfire it, revealing my pal Vince, and just like that, RG shuts off any attempt at coming in on the flank. Now going to set up once again in the bottom lane and try to grab this siege camp. Perhaps a last chance here for ACA. Won't be able to stall that one out.
And the altars are coming up. This is where we're seeing the checkmate play. They've got the siege camp coming in, which is not enough to end the game by itself. But double altars. This is where ACA needs to find a kill so that they can keep pressure in on both altars, and Zeratul just doesn't have the opportunity to sneak up and grab one.
Sappers do cross the line. Now just 1 altar is all that's needed for ReGen to win this, and Porky might be looking for it. He's down here. He's starting the channel. No one nearby. Dudabai going to try to run over. He is unstoppable, being slowed by Zeratul. Porky can't get the finish. The force wave knocks him off, and Troy is likely going to fall to Raynor's Raider. He does, as now ACA potentially going to be able to win this. 2 heroes down for ReGen, and the Twilight Dream not able to secure a kill. Noah trying to escape, 200 health. Dudabai is there. And Porky's down. I think that's it. I think ACA just won it. Tracer's going to try to sneak this, but it's not going to happen.
There
Mega kill for ACA, and they will be sending us to a deciding game number 5 here in the Heroic Division Semifinals.
Murda, look at the score.
1 point. I said it was going to be 1 point, right?
And let's highlight, we have to point out, yes, Urel was trying to get there, but it was the long-range repulsion upgrade from Li Ming at the absolute last possible moment to get that interrupt.
Holy XP for Urel. 31k in the game due to Bides, leading his team on to a game number 5. This is as good as it gets, Aero. It simply does not get better. I can see chat starting to get hyped up. Really thrilled to have everyone here hanging out tonight. Let's take a look at the talent screen. We're going to be taking one last final break of the evening. Us casters need to catch our breath, grab some water, maybe grab a pillow. It's getting late. Aero, we'll be back in a few minutes for game number 5. and welcome back. You're in the right place. I hope you got your snacks, your drinks, your seatbelt strapped, because game number 5 is up next after ACA able to save the day on Towers of Doom. We've alternated wins throughout this one. ReGen, ACA, ReGen, ACA. How will it end? Looks like ReGen going to take first pick. ACA bringing us to Alterac Pass.
I thought that might be where we go. Just given what we've been seeing out of these teams, you know, having these strong objectives. You know, Towers of Doom obviously doesn't have quite the same thing, but they have the constant camp pressure. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these heroic teams handle bosses on this map, how they handle the timing of siege camps. When do they go to the prison camp? When do they stay in the lanes? What's going to be different here than maybe how other divisions play this map?
It's going to be a lot of priority on those camps in the mid lane. Of course, bosses are going to come into play similar to what we saw on Cursed Hollow. Is the draft similar to what we saw on Cursed Hollow, I think, is the question. Where we did see the Falstead come out from ACA, I think a similar map. Falstead can get a lot of value with that Gust, especially late game when you get that wind tunnel, can really secure a win for either team if they're able to get the hero. But it's been ACA so far showing preference onto the Falstead, so I'm curious if ReGen's going to pay attention during the draft and perhaps think about a ban onto the hero, or maybe a higher priority for themselves to take it.
And, you know, ACA, so after that game, we said, how do they address this issue where they're 100% focus targeting on the support? And the answer to that question was, in this case, a Urel and an Uther. And it worked absolutely perfectly for them. The game was a lot more back and forth as opposed to just pummeling in on the support nonstop. And just to point out, that game was, of course, it's Towers of Doom. It's a different setup, but still, it was literally double the amount of time the Cursed Hollow game was.
It's true. The Cursed Hollow game, I think, was 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, our captains are ready to go. Us casters, I think, Aero, we're ready to go. And you hear it starting up. Game number 5. Our draft is live.
And you know what? For what it's worth, what a way to finish the night out, but in the World of Warcraft.
Very true. I know you're a World of Warcraft fan. I personally had to cut the addiction years ago.
You're a better man than I am.
What was the last one I played? Warlords of Draenor for a bit. Halfway through the expansion, I think, is when I left.
There goes the hero pool. All right. Anna's banned, so there you go. That's it.
Well, Quantum and Porky both a little upset after seeing that ban, I'm sure. And there's Sylvanas taken away. Troy has played the hero a few times in a row for ReGen, but this time won't be an option on Alterac Pass. Back over to ReGen, who's taken away the Deathwing 3 times tonight, but this time they don't. They banned the Urel.
Deathwing's been banned out a bunch. Cho'Gall's been banned out a bunch. Both of those heroes I can see getting pretty significant value on a map. Well,
they've also been banning Greymane, Mal'Ganis. But there you do see the Abathur ban, which was that secret sauce game 1 for ReGen on Dragonshire. Won't be able to be played. I think, has Abathur pulled a ban? 2 other bans? Yeah, 2 other bans.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be ETC for Hot Show. I think that's the first time that they've played ETC on ReGen side, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's been banned by ACA all throughout the night, and there was the one game where ACA left it up, and my pal Vince was able to get the hero with the first pick. But this time it's Hot Cho grabbing the cow. Back over to ACA with some power picks still available. We're yet to see the Oriole tonight, which is telling me these teams really don't care about her. It's just Mal'Ganis and this recently buffed Raynor for Kelsier.
Raynor's going to get a lot of work done. He's going to be able to clear those camps very quickly, but also can provide additional pressure to go along with the cavalry. Should they succeed in getting one, I assume Hyperion gets buffed. That would be actually pretty cool, that Yamato cannon firing down. But we're going to see the first time tonight, Jaina coming in.
And Aero, we talked a bit during the break, at least I was saying it, how I was hoping ReGen would come out with something a bit more standard, give us a look that we can get behind as people watching and feel like they have more of a shot to take some of these team fights. And I think that Jaina pick there is starting to signal that maybe they're thinking the same thing. She's going to bring a ton of damage and two very powerful, impactful heroics as options at level 10. Final ban is Zeratul Smart to take away that VP as you see Morales banned out by ReGen. A bit of a head scratcher from me.
I feel like I've seen that, and it's not a juice thing. It's, yeah, you see the chat saying, hey, they know, they such and such, but
Oh, I see. Okay.
I was gonna say, I think I remember seeing ACA play the Morales in one of the games.
Instead, this time Quantum forced all the way back onto a Deckard Cain. They do get the Junkrat, one of his strongest maps here on Alterac Pass, Forgot Filth.
Yeah, I really like the Junkrat here. It's a lot of value. You can stall out the prison camps. You lose a hero or two, no worries. You just throw out some Qs and just keep that prison camp for days.
What does RG pair in with this Jaina? They need some help in the damage department. She can't do it all herself. It's going to be Maev for Noah. And that solo lane, a big body with a defensive cooldown. It's Blaze for Lupus.
So we didn't see a Deathwing ban. We haven't seen Deathwing. Do you think that Deathwing could work with this strand from this group from ACA?
I guess so. I guess so.
Well,
there's
and
the
I
answer.
like the Deathwing because you've got Deathwing's unstoppable, so he can negate the Maev Warden's Cage. He can Bellowing Roar the Mosh Pit. Blaze can't stun him. Jaina can't root him. Malfurion can't root him. So all of these combo CCs that ReGen has, Deathwing just shrugs them off.
Our final poll of the night just went live. Game 4, you guys finally got one right. You picked ACA. We're heading into a game number 5. Everything on the line. Winner take all, and we'll get their spot in the Heroic Division Grand Finals next week up against Perfect Gems, who just won earlier tonight up against Archon in the other semifinal. This is it, ladies and gents. Aero, we've made it to the very end of the line here in the semifinals. Who will go home victorious? As we load on in to game number 5, it will be Alterac Pass. And on the left-hand side up front, playing the Deathwing will be Duda Bides. It's my pal Vince on the Mal'Ganis once again, as we see Kelsier hopping on the Junkrat. It's got Filth on the Rainer, and Quantum playing a potentially banned skin, but we won't say anything, on the Deckard Cain. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the Anti-Clown Association.
They haven't banned it officially yet if they do. So on the right, we've got ReGen. It's going to be TT Porky returning to the Malfurion. Troy 1010 on the Jaina. It's going to be Noah playing the... what's her name?
Maev?
Wow. Maev. I was like, Mal'Ganis. That's
I got you.
Lupa's going to be playing the Blaze. And Hot Cho bringing the beef on the ETC.
Lingering Chill at 1 for Jaina, not going for Globes, maybe an odd pickup. It will be Globes for Blaze, and no Globes for ETC either.
Very interesting. 3 heroes with the Globe talents that they don't go into, but you know what? Block Party works really well for the Rainer, especially, you know, with him taking that ace in the hole, so it's going to help out with that damage. I think I like the Lingering Chill for Jaina because that's going to help her to maintain damage on, like, for example, Deathwing, who's going to be able to walk away, but she's still be able to get those shots off.
Chat making note of the ability for Maev to potentially shut down the Deathwing. Does get the, what's it called, the prison...
The Warden's, no, that's the other one. Containment Disc.
Containment Disc. I always think it's like called prison something, but it's the disc that contains, of course. So they do have an option to kind of keep Deathwing out of these fights a bit.
They do, and you know this is a really interesting setup, and the root going out on the My Palvins to prevent too much there, but up until the Deathwing pick, I thought I liked ReGen's draft. I think they have a lot of value here. They've got PC, Disruption. I think they can win this. And then Deathwing says F you. So Maiev now having to change her scope going into that containment disc changes a little bit about this.
Maiev being all sorts of harassed, now concussion mine back into the towers of ACA. My pal Vince on the other side, low power side through Root's follow-up, but still not enough damage here. Troy still working on that level 1 base quest and getting a bit of it there on the Mal'Ganis, but certainly not enough to finish off first kill of the game. Deathwing making the rotation down towards mid and first real movement from the Dragon all game.
Yeah, and the votes are in. I don't know if you mentioned this. You didn't mention the votes yet, right?
We didn't say who they picked yet, no.
All right, well, go ahead.
It looks like you guys are once again picking ACA and this Deathwing, which I'm highlighting in the top lane for you right now. It will be our first objective of the game, active in just about 12 seconds. And who's going to be setting up first? Looks like maybe it'll be ACA.
Possibly. They're both working on their siege camps, which is pretty standard. You try to get them out there before you pick up the prison camp right away. Junkrat does have a mine placed as well, but that's on the offensive side, so it's really just providing that vision. Orc is going to go ahead and step in that to get rid of that vision, though. Blaze looking for the jet propulsion onto Raynor. Can't quite land it, and you know what? If Blaze just a quarter centimeter to the left, and suddenly Raynor's a dead hero.
Prison camps are active, but they haven't been located by these teams yet. They don't know where those prisoners are, apparently. They're clearing up camps, trying to get level 7 Talons, which are just a second away for both teams, and there they are. Now Junkrat going to start setting up with a few of those traps, and here comes my pal Vince towards that prison camp of ReGen.
And of note here, we've got Malfurion going into deep roots, so larger zoning potential from these roots, but Raynor going to get booped back into the team. Maiev with the tether. Godfilth in big danger, is going to be the first blood of the game. Mal'Ganis is completely surrounded here, so going to have to try to walk very slowly with that kill. Get out. But ends up getting booped back into the root, and the sleep might just allow him to get out.
Look at the comfortability my pal Vince has on Mal'Ganis. Definitely my vote for Heroic Division MVP on this specific hero. Every time I see it, I love what I see. That time, making the sweet escape and preventing a second kill there for ReGen, which will give them now opportunity to make a defense here on their point.
Jaina's sitting about a third of the way done on her base trait fest there. So Ice Block still a little ways away, but given the current pace, probably going to pick that up shortly after the first objective here, I would think.
And it looks like both sides looking at their siege camps for the mid lane. Just a bit quicker is ReGen, as we see Deathwing recently landing up in this top lane. Did RG see that landing, or do they not know that cooldown is currently ticking? I don't think they realized it.
Yeah. And he's on his way back down anyway, so he'll be present. But ReGen is a little bit closer to the camp here. Also of note, they cleared out the vision, so they could sneak that, whereas ACA still has those 2 minions to clear. So ReGen can always have that vision for their side.
Definitely going to have to march all the way back up top, as Maiev was able to push one of those waves into the wall. Going to get a little bit of value, as now both teams, we're at level 7, now we're going to be at level 10, and still no one working on these prison camps, and perhaps this is the meta they want to play on this map. Don't worry about objective, just worry about keeping these lanes in your favor, keep worrying about collecting your XP, and then maybe, just maybe, someone like Noah can sneak over and get a few seconds on this channel.
And that's largely because of that vision that I mentioned earlier, because without taking out those minions, there's no way that they would have been able to do that with just one hero. So we do have that bellowing roar as expected. to help
Stage
mitigate
dive.
this, and it is going to be the containment disc.
It's stage dive.
And
Look at where ETC's hanging out now. This is a wrinkle that ReGen is trying to bring now. Certainly going to help deal with the Deathwing a bit. But they do lose in the team fight a bit, right? Because you don't have the mosh pit, you don't have the threat. And of course they are going to go with the Water Elemental, which will just help give them a bit more pressure onto the front line, especially this Mal'Ganis. And you see my pal Vince trying to set it up again, only finding a sleep on Malfurion that time. But does ReGen give up too much without the mosh pit?
Well, they definitely, I think that they changed a lot about their potential heroics here. Here comes Deathwing with the Cataclysm. Not 100% sure about that one. But they are going to get the slow on the Porky. The Concussion Mine went out, preventing him from getting to the wall, and Raynor able to pick up that kill. And now we see the Kings calling for the prison camp.
And this will be enough room. Junkrat trying to channel, but the interrupt is there from Troy, at least the first one. Noah going to try to look for the second. And finally, Junkrat able to get the point, but here comes the stage dive. ETC is in. Lupus is down here as well, missing the jet propulsion. Now, my pal Vince, I thought maybe he was able to get a stun, but doesn't. ReGen split, though. Look at this. Noah's going to try to come in. 3-man tether, but stunned off. Here's the Riptire. Doesn't get a kill, does it? Jaina's going to fall. Twilight Dream onto just the one. It's Mal'Ganis falling as finally the bunker comes down.
And the prison camp is going to complete its channel. So we are going to see here the Ram Riders coming out for ACA. And you know what? If I'm purely voting, just, you know, voting from the heart, I got to root for the Alliance here, Murda.
Yeah, the Alliance, right?
So I feel bad saying that because, you know, being a part of the ReGen organization, it feels bad to say that, but...
Raynor trying to sidestep, does avoid a jet propulsion. Here comes Deathwing from the sky, and this could be bad for ReGen now because the cavalry's here. Lupus is surrounded, and look at Deathwing trying to keep him there. Is Cataclysm up just a few seconds away, but won't be ready, and everyone from ReGen will be able to escape.
Well, they get the tether in here, and Cataclysm is available. I think that cooldown was actually for the Bellowing Roar that you...
Oh, you're right. It is Bellowing Roar. Yeah.
But the Flame Breath going out. Cavalry's going to get the full wall down here in the bot lane. It's already been cleared elsewhere, so top lane got the wall, mid lane got the wall. Not a lot of tower damage ultimately, but you know what? It's a place to start. But ETC's working top lane pretty well. Is going to get down this tower as additional compensation.
Yeah. Both teams now back once again on their siege camps as well. We said these would be important. They certainly have been so far. But the other thing that we haven't seen yet, those bosses here on Alterac Pass, top lane and bottom lane. And with the pressure I've seen so far from ReGen in the top lane, you got to think they want that top lane boss eventually. Jaina under assault, but avoids a concussion mine that time.
Yeah, and they've got to be extra careful because Deathwing with that Bellowing Roar is just a free. It's just a free boss if they drop in on him. So they need to get a kill or two, and then they can consider looking at a boss. The bosses on this map aren't as strong. They're not as reasonable for push power as, say, a Cursed Hollow. But you know what? Every little bit helps.
Gonna see maybe a stage dive in a second as Troy under a lot of pressure. Here comes Lupus, but it's the Carrion Swarm, and it's Deathwing finishing the kill on Jaina. The bunker just a moment too late from Blaze, and here comes the Cataclysm. We'll connect on Noah. No, he's got that Vault of the Wardens, but yes, he finally will fall. Ends up being the double kill for ACA, their third and fourth of the game, as they're gonna pressure the bottom lane, potentially getting down the first structure of the game. And another kill on Lupus. Yes, they will. Blaze has fallen, as our prisons will be located in 25 seconds.
And it looks like they are going to push down this bottom fort, and it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and rotate onto this bottom boss. And that's going to be pretty significant value for them going into the prison camp phase here. ReGen's going to have to clear that out, or they'll just lose their bottom keep.
And there it goes. No defense on the boss. Really nothing they can do to counter it. There is a siege camp available for ReGen. They're working on it as the prisons just became active. Level 16's on the board for ACA and a half-level lead. There they are for ReGen as well. But bottom lane, it's pressure they got to deal with, Aero. Will they send someone back, or do they fight over this objective? We're about to find out as Jaina knocked back by the concussion mine, and there's nowhere Troy can go. Now Noah under pressure from Mal'Ganis and those Fell Claws. Can he get out? Looks like the answer to Noah is yes.
And they've got ETC up there in the top, pushing out. They're going to be able to get this top fort thanks to the minion wave. Does a lot more damage than ETC. I imagine ETC might be looking to possibly even stage dive here if there's any further rotation. But they're looking for the Maya jumps over the roof from Deckard. But was able to get caught by the sleep, but use that Shadow of Vengeance to get out.
ETC working on the Deathwing in this top lane, still holding on to that stage dive. Now Blaze making the rotation up, leaving that boss to die in front of the ReGen bottom lane keep. Prison guards will transfer possession back over to RG, but here comes ACA once again.
And Felclaw's being used here. The sleep coming out. Jet Propulsion just barely missing the Mal'Ganis there. But Mal'Ganis is in a bit of a tight spot. Never mind, he's got Carrion Swarm.
He had mana to cast Carrion Swarm. Looked like he had 0 mana, but still gets it off. Water Elemental has been thrown out, as well as the Cataclysm. Not going to hit too much from due to Bides. Bunker thrown down by Blaze as ReGen starting to set up defensively around their prison camp, and looks like they will push back ACA.
So ACA still has Riptire. They still have the Bellowing Roar. We've got the Twilight Dream and the Stage Dive. So both teams are going to pick up their siege camps, send those back down the mid lane. But ultimately, you know, both teams do have a little bit of pressure in the form of Reavers occasionally spawning. And, you know, the Reavers they have a lot of health. Reavers have, what, 4,000 health? Well, right now they've got 22. Still, that's a lot more than a Catapult minion on.
Bottom lane, Deathwing doing a good job pushing up this wave. ETC has to respond again. The only hero who can really match what Deathwing brings to these fights. Stage dive coming out now by ETC, but once again, it's Troy the target from ACA. The Water Elemental has been thrown down. Noah connecting on the tether, and Mal'Ganis could be in trouble. Silence is there, and the first kill of the fight does belong to ReGen. Elemental still on the map, so they're going to be able to walk on in, but can Drunkrat delay this? They're going to try. And they do. The first delay is secured. Still looking for more. But here comes ReGen.
The Raider.
They got to pressure him off. And bottom lane, too. Look at this. Deathwing against Blaze. Due to Bize just trying to pick off this keep and might be successful soon.
It's pretty close, but, you know, Blaze can't do a lot to Deathwing. So only 2,500 health there on that keep. The stall's going out for days, though, here.
The concussion mine on the point.
Deckard,
oh, another stall.
Oh.
I think they got it that time. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's off. They did kill off Rainer's Raider, which, you know, stalled it out for a little while, too. So that's... I mean, they stalled it out long enough for Mal'Ganis to get here. So
that's the key part, yeah. 19.5 is the level. My pal Vince is finally back from that long death timer. ETC with the stage dive going to split out towards the top lane as they're trying to rechannel this prison here. Water Elemental has been thrown out, stalling out My pal Vince. Here's the stage dive. Does slow down Mal'Ganis. Concussion Mine knocks ETC in a great spot. As now they're turning the focus onto Raynor. He's pulled back into the roots. Has got Filth Fall here. Porky's still in chase. There's Twilight Dream. Blaze with the cleanup on the backside along with Jaina. There's the containment disc on Deathwing. Dudabide's popping out. Now surrounded by 4 heroes of ReGen. Can ETC walk around and slow the rest of this down? Looks like he might be able to Cataclysm to escape for Deathwing. And that should be it from ReGen. Stay a while and listen. No, we're going to hop in the bunker and try to get out of here. Concussion Mine says, no, not so fast. And that might be it.
At some point they're going to have to peel off and defend against this cavalry. The top lane is going to be going straight into that keep. So they're going to need to defend that sooner rather than
mid lane too.
Bot keep sitting very low, so Deathwing should be able to clear that out at some point for ACA. But yeah, I mean, having the pressure in 2 lanes from this cavalry is a bit of a problem. Top lane has more minions to support.
That Molten Breath so effective at clearing out these waves. You see how quickly it went down. Cavalry the only thing standing, and I think that second breath might be just enough to finish it off. Yes, it will be. ReGen starting their disengage, but Blaze on a different page has to pop new habits to get out. And will survive. Top lane, let's look at this. Cavalry about to go down. Keep at 66% health, I'll say.
Bot lane now getting pushed out, so meeting up with the fort. Cavalry sitting at about 40% left here. And we see ReGen setting up, looking for potentially a gank on any heroes that should come short.
There will be at least one boss available after this. Hot Show may be in trouble. Felt Claws connect. Does have Power Slide through Mal'Ganis, walking through some of these bushes to prevent any auto attacks, and does make it back. Now ReGen here in support for their tank. But do they really need to fight? Bottom lane, Cavalry still pushing along with a decent-sized wave. Someone's going to have to respond or they will lose their wall. Here's a stage dive. Upgrade at level 20 for ETC. Bunker dropped as well. Quantum low. That's the support. Decker Kane does fall. ReGen looking for kills and finding them on the supports all night. A big pickup there with bosses on the map. Is this a spot? Containment is thrown down, but Blaze very low on health. They're not going to look for a fight as my pal Vince says, hey guys, we can be looking for this fight. Look how low Maiev is, 500 health, trying to escape, and I think maybe they get out. It's close. Raynor looking for a finish on any of these heroes, but can he get it? No.
The concussion mine, if only they had stuck around for a little bit longer, they might have been able to get that Maiev as she got bounced over the wall. But instead, ReGen looking for this boss. Now, this is still technically possible for Deathwing to take that, but with the 5 versus 4, you know, Deathwing doesn't want to be right up with all that.
They want the other boss, and they just showed in that bottom lane. Raynor for sure showed. Now Mal'Ganis for sure showed as well. Can RG get here in time, or is Raynor gonna have enough damage in the tank along with Junkrat to finish this off? Deathwing in chase, gonna try to stall this out, get them off their mounts. Maiev, Jaina don't get dismounted, so they're almost here. 20 seconds left. As the stage dive, I saw it weirdly on my screen from ETC in the sky. Makes it there in time. Now my pal Vince being pulled back into the blizzard, and Power Slide securing the kill on Mal'Ganis. Another big pickup for RG. Stay a while and listen, hitting 4 targets, but Noah in the bunker as soon as that Riptire gets there. Here's the drop in from Deathwing, gets a kill on Jaina as Porky trying to lead Noah and Lupus out of here. Dude abides with the Cataclysm. Will it be enough to secure a kill onto Maiev? No. Valter the Wardens says, I got this one. And I think that's it, Aero. They're going to make it back, but this keep might fall.
It should fall. The boss sitting on the core by itself, not enough to kill the core with 2 keeps still up. There's a pretty significant minion wave, but I think overall that even with that, the boss should be okay. There's no stage dive yet. 20 seconds still on that. So we're not going to see that pressure. ACA was kind of casually looking at maybe picking up the prison camp, but with their heroes back at the core, they pull back.
Siege camp being pinged. I'm not sure which team is doing the pinging, but ReGen, knowing that this is a bit easier of a prison camp for them to grab, not having to deal with some of the harassive nature that Junkrat can bring to Alterac Pass, they will be able to get an early channel started here. Objective number 3. 3 or 4? 3, right? The first one was so long.
Maybe 3. Yeah. 1 for each of them, I think, so far. And they're trying to stall out the channel here as ACA, but again, ReGen, just like we saw out of ACA earlier, able to put the brakes on that. So 34 seconds left as ReGen's going to go ahead and pull back. There is the siege camp in the mid lane that's working on this keep, and if that keep goes down, suddenly those lanes of pressure are a big problem.
Concussion Mine will do the job. There will be another minion camp walking up as ReGen setting up on the point again as my pal Vince with the focus on him. Silence going to interrupt that stay along and listen, but the Carrion Swarm able to be popped, and look at all that value it's getting from my pal Vince in the bunker, and the stage dive coming to the backside, but the Cataclysm so good right on top of that bunker as the stay along and listen should be back off cooldown soon. I think it got interrupted again. The first kill of the fight comes out onto Jaina, another one on Malfurion, but they're going down on both sides. Decker Kane will fall. Lupus trying to get along with Hotcho. And I think they do get out, but what a good spot right here for ACA. It's 3 heroes down for ReGen, an opportunity to pick up this late game objective, which could be enough to win it. It looks like ETC wants to get that keep down, and it's a very smart decision for Hacho, but is it enough, or is this the end?
And I was going to say, you typically don't see game-ending core calls with only one keep down, but when you do, it's with a boss. And so picking up this boss is high value for them. They've got a significant wave there, but ETC pushing the wave up here. Again, 2 lanes of pressure. This core is going to take a lot of damage. I don't think that ETC can do it alone, even with the 2 lanes right now, but if it starts to build up, that's a big problem.
Boss for the bottom lane as ETC will continue trying to push these waves up. Now core at 50% health. This is getting dangerous. Is anyone going back for ACA? Looks like finally they are, but Hacho's gotten this down to 9,000 health. Is he in trouble? There's the face melt. Junkrat looking for something. Another face melt. Roots land and ETC has fallen.
And now the core will slowly regenerate its health. The cavalry will push out. Both the top and mid lanes are pretty far against ACA, so it's going to take a while for that cavalry to get there. With their trip back to their own core, the boss here is going to get some value onto the core.
And look at this. ACA wants to end bottom lane with 2 keeps still standing. Risky move not going for the second keep here, but looks like they actually will be going for this move. Here comes My Pal Vince on the front side. Cavalry has made it all the way to the core, but ReGen trying to take this fight behind it. Porky's very low. Riptire comes out, doesn't get enough value. The Ice Block was there from Jaina, and now the bunker as well, but Malfurion falls, and the huge sleep from Quantum gonna finish off Noah. There goes Troy as well, and your division representatives, the number 2 seed ACA, will walk right back through after being down 2-1 to take the set over ReGen and book themselves a spot in the grand finals against Perfect Gems.
What an absolutely crazy series this has been. Back and forth, each team alternating their wins, and ultimately ACA coming out on top at a point where they even had a potential to lose it. ETC with that pressure, getting that second keep down. If there was any possibility for ReGen to cross the map and get their heroes there, they potentially could have won the game, but there was just so much pressure.
A lot of pressure, maybe some mistakes there at the end from ReGen, playing a bit too greedy, a bit too lax in those final moments. What a finish for the Deathwing side, the first Deathwing of the match, and it ends up netting that Game 5 victory for the Anti-Clown Association. I'm going to take a moment trying to find an interview, so if you want to keep everyone occupied for a few moments, Aero, I'd appreciate.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. It looks like, you know, the Deathwing there, I got to shout this out. Deathwing, 0 deaths in that. Provided a lot of value, and quite frankly, the Deathwing is what made that work. If they didn't have Deathwing, the ReGen squad, whether it was Ring of Frost or whether it was Water Elemental, you've got the Jet Propulsion, you've got the Maiev Warden's Cage, you got the ETC Mosh Pit as mentioned, you got the Roots. There's so many ways to lock down whoever their other solo laner could have potentially been, and Deathwing just says no, and ultimately throws them on his back and carries him with Cataclysm into the victory circle.
Well, Aero, I do have an interview lined up for us. We're going to be heading over to the NGS lobby number 1 and meeting with Kelsier.
I'll see you there.
Welcome to the stream, Kelsier. What a set. Probably the most exciting one I've had to cast the entire season. Went the distance to game number 5. And ultimately, your team, ACA, heading to the Heroic Division Grand Finals. How are you feeling?
Dude, that set was so fun to play, man. I just have just so much energy right now after that.
I mean, that's the dream. Getting to a big match like that, a big moment, and finding yourselves down in the set. How does the team rebound? How do you guys regain the composure to take games 4 and 5? 2 very tough matches as well. Towers of Doom. I don't know if you saw how close Porky was to ending it. It was like a fingernail on that channel. And then that game number 5, Alterac Pass, similar fashion there at the end. Just talk us through the composure and how do you guys regain it to end up with that result?
Well, we just try to keep talking, no matter like if we're behind or not, or if we're losing. A lot of those games we were like behind for a lot of it, but as long as we, keep the comms flowing, keep talking about what we're doing, then we can turn it around.
So obviously we went the distance. We saw a lot of heroes being picked tonight. You guys started off the drafts a bit different tonight. I think it was you drafting, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
I was banning. It's more of a team thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had the crown at least. That's what I noticed.
Right.
It started off the night, the Cho'Gall bans, right? Games 1 and 2. And then I thought there was maybe an opportunity in game number 3, Cursed Hollow, for you guys to pick it in the 3-4 slot. You end up going with the Hanzo Imperius. Was there ever consideration there to go to the Cho, since it seemed as though you guys are really worried about it up against ReGen?
Right. We weren't actually thinking about it in that Cursed Hollow game. What ended up happening, they drafted really well against us, and they just ran it down mid, and as soon as they got a wipe, they just ended the game. So they did a really powerful
New
draft. That
follower
was
detected.
just a stomp on Cursed Hollow.
I mean, certainly the 2 games that ReGen was able to take off you guys, us as casters both said both those games, ACA, that was their game to win. And the fact that ReGen was able to do that a couple times on our first map, D-Shire, third map, Cursed Hollow, you guys must have felt the confidence, though, because you held the power throughout all of those games. All 5 games you guys had an advantage at one point throughout. Did you feel as though you're the better team in this matchup, or what was the difference there?
I feel it's honestly close to 50-50. Like, we're very even as teams, and the set probably showed it too. There was really close games and really back and forth all around. We generally have a more aggressive playstyle, so it's usually we're the ones in control, and if we slip up, then that's when they capitalize on us. So they do really good at capitalizing on things when we make mistakes. But if we get in there and we get the momentum, then we can just coast throughout the rest of the game.
Aero, anything on the earlier portion of these matches tonight you want to touch on?
So mostly I want to ask about something later, so I'll come back to that question.
No, just go for it now. That's fine. Whatever you got.
Well, I'll cover one other question, and Murda kind of touched on this in general, but I specifically want to focus on game number 1, because game number 1, as Murda said, it was a 20-minute game, 19 minutes ACA, and then double Samuro onto the core. When you guys come out of that game, that's got to be a frustrating loss, because it feels so bad when you're ahead that whole time, and then to just lose the game like that. Is there anything that you guys do specifically after going through a loss like that to make sure that as a team your head's back in the game and ready to go for game?
So after a loss like that, it's more, we look at what they want. They got pretty much everything they were looking for: Abathur, Zeratul, Samuro. We didn't really respect the Abathur as a pick from game 1. And we made sure to keep in mind the Abathur and what they want to go for the rest of the set. We were certain they were going for it on like Cursed Hollow and Alterac. And in general for the team, we just keep it moving, keep it flowing, and make sure we're still in the correct headspace. Like, as soon as we get quiet, that's when we're just gonna get 3-0'd.
I mentioned during the broadcast my pal Vince, number 1 Mal'Ganis in the NGS Heroic division. Do you disagree, or do you want to take this opportunity to kind of credit your tank player and how he's able to help you lead to this victory tonight?
Oh yeah, Mal'Ganis, Vince on Mal'Ganis is just it's bread and butter, man. He's really nuts on it, and he knows how to get aggressive enough. Sometimes he's a little too in there, so we have to kind of call him in a little and protect him. But overall, he just carries games when he's on Mal'Ganis.
Able to secure the win in game number 5. There was one moment where I was like, man, he's so in trouble. There's no way he's getting out. He had no mana on him, but is still able to pop the Carrion Swarm, made it to safety. And how many kills was in that game? You guys had 14, and a lot of help from the Mal'Ganis as well, from your Junkrat, Alterac Pass, the stalls. Notably, the moment where Mal'Ganis is dead for about 45-50 seconds, and you're able to stall that out almost the entire time. How huge is that hero on the map? Help these guys in chat out. Tell them to pick it.
Oh yeah, dude, Junkrat's S tier on Alterac. He has so much stall. They responded correctly by trying to, as soon as they realized, we were camped up with Deckard and Rainer and Junkrat, they responded correctly by trying to push us in middle, but we were able to just, kind of rotate around and keep the stall going until we got Maganis back in. And yeah, Junkrat's like SS on Alterac.
Dare I say SSS?
SSS plus.
Aero, it was Alterac Pass to close it out. Anything else to mention for Alterac Pass and the ending? It was, as mentioned here in chat, Ektar bringing up the point that Quantum going with the perfect gems pick at level 20 to close out the semifinals. And next week, the match against perfect gems. Give us your preliminary thoughts on the matchup. What is there to look forward to in the Heroic Division Grand Finals?
Ooh, in the Grand Finals, Perfect Gems is a very scary team. I think we fought them recently in Div S, and we got 0-3'd against them. So they are very powerful and strong. I'm excited to fight them, though. I would say we're relatively even. They might have a slight advantage here and there, but I think it's going to be a really, really fun set and a fun Grand Finals.
Well, I know I'm certainly excited for it. Aero, you could probably say the same. I think Aero gets preference to cast whatever grand final he wants. So if you want Aero, maybe make your bid to him to cast your grand final matchup. But I gotta say,
if you don't just schedule on Monday or Wednesday.
But Kelsier, I gotta say, first off, huge congratulations. You knocked off my very own ReGen squad. Congrats to you. Job well done, man.
Thank you.
And of course, before we let you go, opportunity for those shout outs. Let your team know congrats and all the good things and all that fun stuff. Floor's yours.
Right. All right. Big shout outs to my team for just, keeping it cool during that set. Shout outs to ReGen for making one of the funnest sets I've played in a long time. Shout out to CPX, CPX's mom, and CPX's dog. I love them all. And I hope his shirt can come back one time. I hope it comes back from the pound and it comes home safely.
Well, it's going to be CPX versus the Anti-Clown Association next week in the NGS Season 8 Heroic Division Grand Finals. Kelsier, congrats, my man. Best of luck next week. We're looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you. See you, man.
See ya.
Good luck, man.
All right, so Aero. What a long night. You just casted 8 games in a row. You got to see both halves of the Heroic Division semifinals. Maybe it's time for your thoughts. You saw both the winners tonight. Who has the edge heading into the grand finals next week?
I have to agree with Kelsier that these teams are going to be really strong. I fully expect that we'll see a 5-game series. Perfect Gems made the comment that they wanted to play against ReGen. They lost to ReGen 3-2 in Div S recently. And as you just heard from Kelsier, Perfect Gems defeated 3-0 over ACA. Now, ACA looked very collected in this match. Perfect Gems as well in their match against Archon. I think it's going to be an absolutely just stellar performance. I think everybody should do everything they can to make sure they watch it, because you're just not going to see better HOTS.
And quickly, before we close the broadcast tonight, shout out to the members of ACA for hitting that follow button. We got Dude Abides, we got Kelsier, and we got I Got Filth, all hitting that follow button before the cast ended. Thank you for those. Definitely looking forward to Heroic Division Grand Finals. It's gonna be a thriller. Number 1 versus number 2 next week. We don't know who's casting yet, but stay tuned. NexusGamingSeries.org for more information. If you want to follow me, I'm available on Twitter at MurdaRG, of course on the NGS Discord, or if you're wanting to be really fun, you can hop on into the RG Discord. Nightbot's been throwing links out all night. Welcome to say hi whenever you like. Aero, send us out, man.
So make sure that all of the Grand Finals games, D through Heroic, are going to be up on the Nexus Gaming Series page on Twitch, or the Nexus Gaming Series 2 if there are 2 matches at the same time. So make sure that you're following both of those. Keep track of the calendar. Watch the Hype channel. Make sure that you know what's going on and when it's going on. We'll be posting casters as soon as possible, of course, once the games have been put on the calendar. So if you're out there watching, from one of these heroic teams or one of the other sets, make sure that you get those on the calendar as soon as possible so that we can work with our casting team to make sure that they get signed in. If you want to catch my stuff, you can catch me at Aero RG, twitch.tv/Aero RG. And you know what? If you guys are out there and you haven't used a Twitch Prime or something, throw that over to Murda here. Show some love for this guy. He put together a great show tonight. And Murda, I really appreciate you having me as part of the team today.
There's not a lot of people I appreciate more than you, Aero. A good friend, a fantastic caster, and an absolute pleasure to get to present this semifinal matchup with you. Thanks for being here, and hopefully we get to pair up during the grand finals.
Could very well happen. I happen to know a grand final that you might be interested in.
I happen to know a head caster who might be able to make that happen. All right, ladies and gents, I don't know where we're sending you. I'm frantically trying to find a stream. Looks like
I see
Kyberries, maybe?
I see
that your pick?
Kyberries, I see Alicia, I see Fan. All three of those playing HOTS right now.
Fan's got a bazillion people watching right now. He's doing a bronze to grandmaster challenge again, apparently. Let's oh look, Kyberries, her stream title says send help. We're gonna send help.
Well, there you go.
We're gonna send help. All right, guys. God bless all of you. You're amazing people. I really appreciate your kind support tonight, your continued presence here at twitch.tv/MurdaRG. I hope to see you soon for a grand final, but it won't be here. It's going to be on the NGS channel. So once again, make sure you're following that. And until then, I'm Murda. He's been Aero, and we'll see you guys in the Nexus.
Play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring! Bobstats, they go gonna find Rainer!